ready. This is going to be exciting.
And the car restarts up to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the heart-pounding action of the GT3 Championship. We are live here from the iconic twists and turns of Spa-Francorchamps for race 10 of the season, a grueling 2-hour endurance battle that's only the second of its kind this year. With 7 different winners across the first 9 races, the competition has been nothing short of unpredictable. And tonight, under the shadow of a slight chance of rain, anything could happen at this legendary Belgian circle. Buckle up, folks. It's time to go racing right here on Goat Locker Racing MK Fire Design Sports Car Series, presented by Zat Graphics, right here on VSPEED, your #1 source of online race coverage. And of course, tonight's race is brought to you by MK Fire Design, a design company that specializes in custom wooden flags. Also being brought to you by Save 22, fighting first responder and veteran suicide. And of course, InVets, helping vets in Indiana. I'm Ken Huber. I've got Corey Smith, Tim Jones on production, and Dougie Beard on the cameras tonight. Hey, welcome back aboard there, Corey. Pretty exciting being here at Spa with you tonight.
Well, thank you, Ken. It's great to be here, and I love Spa. This is absolutely my favorite track on the calendar. This one has been circled for a while, and the fact that it gets to be a 2-hour race is absolutely what this track deserves.
Talk about Spa. Nestled in the lush Ardennnes forest of Belgium, the Spa-Francorchamps Grand Prix circuit is a 4.35 19-turn roller coaster of speed, elevation, and sheer adrenaline. Starting from the tight hairpin at source, drivers will plunge the iconic Eau Rouge, a compression that catapults them uphill through a sweeping turn, demanding nerves of steel and reaching upwards of 150 miles an hour. The Long Kemmel Straight follows, offering a prime overtaking before the heavy braking zone into Les Combes, where a sequence of medium speed corners through the Maladie and Rivage tests precision and rhythm. So this is going to be exciting here, Corey, like I said, and with 2 hours. And actually, you know, I was looking at the radar, and it looks like these guys might experience some rain showers here tonight.
Well, Spa is challenging all on its own, but you add some nightfall. We're doing early morning to sunrise transition, and it's going to be incredibly challenging for these drivers. You add the possibility of rain in here. Just throw all your notes out the window, because we're going to see a little bit of everything today. So today we're looking at about a 2-hour race. Our pit road speed is going to be 45. You can take as many tires as you want. Some people are probably not going to take tires. They're comfortable doing 2 stints on one set. But if you need it, you'll have a faster pair, and you're going to start out at 50% fuel. So look at probably a 2-stop race. So maybe tires on one of those stops, but some people will do it all on one set.
Yeah, it'll be interesting on the fuel, especially if we don't see rain. Of course, if we see rain here tonight, you know, it's going to throw all fuel bets out the window. But these guys might be able to squeak out 30 minutes. So the deal is with the 50% fuel, they get to start off on 50% fuel, but they can put, when they go into the pits, they can put up to 100% fuel in there, which will allow you to go almost an hour. I'm pretty sure that if the rain doesn't come, you're right, Corey, it's probably going to be a two-stop race. But, you know, there's always somebody out there willing to try the fuel mileage game. If they can make it a little over 30 minutes on the first stint and the rain doesn't show up, they could try to stretch that out for an hour-long stint with 100% fuel.
Yeah, we'll have to see. You know, again, this place holds a special part of my heart as when I joined the iRacing service. This was the first ever special event I did in iRacing, the 24 Hours of Spa, and you're looking at about 52 to 55 minutes of gas. So the length of 2 hours actually makes it pretty incredible. Of course, that's before the rain shows up.
Oh yeah, you know, of course I had my head wasn't where it needed to be for that one. I forgot it was 2 hours actually. I was thinking an hour and a half for some reason, but yeah, 2 hours. Like I said, the second race of the season too. We did Daytona earlier, and yeah, so definitely going to be a two-stop race. So I don't know what I was thinking there, but we did Daytona earlier in the season, and that was a lot of fun. So this is the second race. It's going to be 2 hours. Why don't we look at our point standings?
Yeah, as you see here, Jeremy Gardner has a commanding lead at the top, almost a 500-point lead. He just shows up every weekend, gets it on the podium, and pulls away from everybody else. But we have seen a lot of new faces show up during the season, and some of those are starting to show up in the top 20. As you can say, Mason Cardinale, he had one of the wins, and then we have Derek Timms, who's won a couple races recently, now showing up in the top 20, even though he's only done a few races.
Yeah, speaking of these new drivers, they've been doing a great job out there. But tonight is a little bit different too. With the 2 hour race, it's also double the points. And so Tyler Justice or Jeremy Gardner with that commanding lead, if he falters tonight with a 30-some car field tonight, that could allow Tyler Justice to creep back up into this picture along with people like Eddie Smith, Nathan Graham, Samuel Egge. You know, they're not totally out of the hunt, but it is going to be hard chasing Gardner down, and we know he's super fast on these road courses.
Yeah, speaking of being fast on this road course, this is a very fast road course, long straightaways, several of them. And then something that, you know, guys who are new to road courses maybe aren't used to, there's a lot of corners here where you have to sacrifice one corner to have the corner exit speed on the next one. So, you know, it's definitely a skill to learn if you're new to road courses, but we're going to see how they tackle it over the next 2 hours.
Definitely got some good drivers out here. Checkered flags out. We still got about a minute left in qualifying. These guys are trying to get their laps in. But, you know, another exciting thing is we're going to transition into the morning. So right now you're looking at some footage of Spa here in the daytime. But the race is actually going to take the green flag under headlights. And then we're going to transition to daylight. And then it looks like there's a little bit of rain in the forecast. I'm seeing some spotty rain. It's about 45 minutes out.
Yeah, for your calibration right now, it's 5:17 in the morning, and we expect the sun to come up here in about an hour or so.
Yeah, so these guys are going to have their hands full right out of the gate, and as soon as they can start to see the track, they're going to maybe dealing with some weather. But it is iRacing weather, and it is spotty, so it isn't guaranteed that it's going to rain, but it could go either way. We could get just a light little sprinkle, or we could have a full-on downpour, but we'll have to wait and see, as these guys are probably nervous as they're getting ready to buckle into these cars and take the grid.
Absolutely. I can't wait for the next 2 hours. And speaking of which, it's time to kick it off.
Yeah, so our Jam Printing and Promotion Pole Award winner is going to be Derek Folk. Grabs that pole with a strong 2:16.5 lap time. So super fast out there in the dark. James Bailey will qualify in second. I haven't seen that name before. We'll start on his outside. Derek Tiram's 2-race winner so far this season will start in third. And on the outside will be Chad Gross in fourth. In fifth will be Andrew Margarga. I'm going to probably mess that name up a little bit tonight, but new to the series, I believe. McGarrigle. Yeah.
I thought I was only going to have to correct you on French pronunciation tonight.
So Brendan McDonald will start on the outside in sixth. Zachary Minnis will start on the inside in seventh. Tyler Brown in eighth. Ryzen Baker will start in ninth. And Cody Jacob rounds out your top 10.
Moving to row 6, we got the 33 of Tyler Justice and his McLaren. Outside of him is going to be Logan Threlkeld in that number 30 Porsche. Row 7 is going to make up Jeremy Gardner, Big Daddy in his Ford Mustang, next to Samuel Egge in the 243. Row 8 is going to be a Ford Mustang, the number 111 of Eric Burke with a 218-992. Outside of him will be Samuel Joseph in his Porsche. Row 9 is going to be Corey Patton in the 131, and outside of him will be Jason Black in the 68 Lamborghini. Row 10 going to be Chris Jennings in the number 17 Ford, with the 911 of Oz Exalu to his outside.
And the 21st position will be Matt Lass, and on his outside will be Mike Browning. Damian Castro will start in 23rd with Jason Kristen in the 24th position. Lucas Lyons will start in 25th. Jamie Lipke on his outside in 26th. 22, Skylar Daly will be starting in the 27th position with James Goshen starting in 28th. Alexander Sexauer will start in the 29th position with Bobby Germain, Rob Kubat starting in 30th. In the 31st position, it looks like we have Wyatt Dooling, and in 32nd, Bobby Germain. 33rd will be Mickey Isaac, and 34th out of our 34-car field will be Cody Turner.
Quite a turnout tonight, Ho.
Yeah, big turnout tonight. So we'll see how these guys do as they come down here. It's a short parade lap, so you can see them already trying to get some heat in the tires. They've only got a couple of turns here before we send them loose here going into this last chicane. So it's kind of nice that we don't have a lot of time to talk. We're already going to be doing this for 2 hours.
Well, there's nobody I'd rather spend the next 2 hours with than you guys. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to some exciting racing. With all the various skill levels we have at GLR, there was action all over the track last week, and I bet there will be again tonight, even if with a race that's 2 hours long.
Yeah, I have no doubt. This 2-hour race with 34 cars, these guys are going to be intense. It's going to be really interesting to see if the rain does show up, how these guys handle the strategy on tires. If the rain doesn't come before that first stop, who might chance it and go out there on some slick or some wet weather tires? Stuff like that that's really going to play out and factor into this race.
Absolutely. As you can see, the cars working their way through the pace lap down Blanchimont right now. We're only a few hundred meters from taking the green flag. And you can already see them. You can see the sun starting to poke through on the horizon. Won't be dark too long, but just long enough to cause some chaos.
Yeah, chaos, perhaps. You can see a little bit of orange back there, so I imagine we'll probably have a pretty good view of the track in probably 20 minutes or so before the sun comes up. But you can see the skies getting later. The pace car is ducking onto the pit lane. We'll see these guys take the green flag here momentarily, and it looks like we are away. They're away. So green flag is out. Derek Foot will lead them down into turn one, and pretty much side by side. Not a whole big jam up going in. It looks like these guys are being really cautious getting into one.
A little contact from behind from James Bailey as he comes out of one. It looked like Derek Folk ran it a little wide as they head towards Eau Rouge.
Yeah, watching these guys side by side just behind that battle there. I believe that was Sexauer, or I'm sorry, I got my positions mixed up. That was Derek Turnham's back there, but now we're looking at another battle shaping up as we got some side by side all over the field.
And they're 3 wide down the Campbell Straight. That is crazy to only do on the first lap, but I guess get the positions while you can.
Yeah, back at our leader.
James Bailey working on Derek Folk already.
See Derek Folk getting down through there. He's got James Bailey all over the back of him. Not putting a great deal of pressure there. I think they're trying to get the tires warm. You don't want to be too aggressive here. As they head down the hill, down to the double turn down here, we'll see how they get through as we got a side-by-side battle just behind them.
Yeah, you're looking at the 12th place car, Tyler Justice. He's down one spot, but the best thing you can do at a track like this is just keep it on the road. So I bet he'll be there towards the end. Our second place guy in points right now.
Yeah, Tyler Justice has been super consistent as we're looking at the second place of James Bailey getting around here, trying to look for some weakness on that leader, Derek Folk, in that black Mustang. The Mustang has been super popular as of late. So a lot of drivers in the Mustang here tonight, but there's a Ferrari challenging for the lead right now running back there as we're looking out the windscreen of Bailey following that Mustang just ahead of him.
Well, as they make their way down Blanchimont for the first time, Derek Folk opened it to about a 0.6 of a second lead. How late does Bailey want to risk it going into the chicane here as they come around 18 and 19 towards turn 1 to complete the first lap.
Looking at Ryzen Baker right now, I want to say that's Logan Throkell just ahead of him. And just as we had the camera on him, there was a header. Somebody took a header there. I believe that was Throkell. We'll have to go back and take a look at it.
Looks like a traffic jam there in turn 19. Stacked them all up, and it looks like Brendan McDonald's going to have to tow. Oh.
Yeah, you can see the contact. Brendan McDonald gets around there coming out of that last chicane there.
Well, we talked before the green flag. The key to this race was going to be corner exit and getting back on the throttle, but you can see you get on it too fast and you spin it around, especially with tires not fully warmed up. It takes a lap or two.
Yeah, I'm looking right now back at Logan Throkeld, who took the worst hit on that. A lot of front end damage on that Porsche. Still got the front clip on that thing, but he got past. He's moving down in positions right now. He's in 13th, so he lost a few spots in there. You can see the damage on that Porsche up there on the front. Well, maybe you can. It's pretty dark out there, but he's going to be struggling trying to make it to that first pit stop so he can utilize his quick repair.
Well, unfortunate for Logan. He'd been up a couple spots, and then he lost all the gains he'd made there in the first lap, and he's going to be hard-pressed to make it to that first pit stop. He might be coming early.
Yeah, that's some bad luck for him. We're looking just behind there, Lucas Lyons right now. Lucas Lyons putting some pressure on. Currently running in the 18th position.
Up 7 spots from the start of the race.
And you can see the cars he's battling with there, Exelu and Black just ahead of him. Looks like he's going to go around the outside there.
Yeah, Exelu has a mirror full of lines right now. Just trying to hold his line and see if Lyons really wants to force the issue, if they're just going to ride around for the first part of this stint.
Oh, big accident there. That's 911, it looks like. So 911, Oz Exelu there has some contact, sends him into the wall. We're going back to take a look at this.
Yeah, looks like he had a little bit of help there.
Yeah, and the car came back on the track and got in, and it looks like the 17 was involved there too. That was Chris Jennings, it looks like, had some issues with that accident as well.
Yeah, unfortunate for them. They were both running in the high teens, and they're now in the high 20s. So long way to go. If they can keep it straight and on track, they'll be there at the end.
We're back up front with our leader here. It's got about a half-second lead, a few car lengths over second place James Bailey, and then Derek Terham's behind them. So we got a 3-car battle up here for the lead, as you can see a little bit of daybreak now as the sun is starting to come up. So we'll see how this works out, especially if it does start raining here in a little bit.
As we're looking in on Derek Terhams, who's in 3rd place, couple of wins this season. Has only been here a few races, so, you know, he's had a lot of success so far. So we'll see if he's got something for Derek Folk and James Bailey as the next hour and 40 minutes go on. Yeah,
as we ride on board the Ferrari of James Bailey right here, looking at our leader up front of Derek Folk. As they go through the double apex here and then down into the S's. And they'll try to be really smooth through these corners here and try to run him down.
Yep, as they make their way down to Curve Paul Ferreira, there's a couple of right-handers here. You can take them at a high speed, but if there's any debris there, like they're kicking on track right now, you're definitely going to run into problems. So knowing what was there and hoping it's still the same lap after lap is the key to getting through there quickly.
One of the nice things about the fixed setups that we're running here tonight is we are running the general fixed setup, so it is a high downforce setup. So the cars aren't quite as free as, say, when we ran at Daytona. So these guys have a lot more grip, but they just don't have the overall straight line speed. So you'll see probably a lot more close racing with this style of setup.
Absolutely. As we're taking a look at Corey Patton and Jeremy Gardner, that's the race for 10th place. Both of those drivers up a few spots. Corey Patton up 6 spots so far. He started 17th, and him and Jeremy Gardner are headed towards the front. Yeah,
Jeremy Gardner, our points leader, having a strong season. He's he hasn't finished out of the top 3 all season long. So he's got a little bit of work cut out for him tonight, though. He's in the Mustang. He started the season off in the Corvette a couple of races ago, moved to the Mustang, and so far hasn't looked back. But I believe somebody was talking to Gardner, and he isn't a big fan of the rain, especially in the Mustang. So we'll see how that pays off.
Yeah, if there's a race that Jeremy Gardner doesn't finish on the podium, it might be tonight. It seems like week after week we are just adding all this new talent to the Goat Locker Racing MK Fire Designs sports car series.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's been a blast to watch. We're watching Derek Terams right now. Derek Terams in a different car. You know, you mentioned that he has those 2 wins on the season. Well, he's done it in 2 separate cars. So he won in the Porsche last week, and then earlier this season, I'm trying to remember what car it was. I looked at it earlier today. I can't remember, but this is his 3rd car. So he's looking for 3 wins in 3 separate cars. So the guy makes his way around with the different manufacturers, that's for sure, and he's fast in all of them.
Well, if you do this enough, you know that certain cars have just the tiniest advantage at these tracks. As you can see him working his way through Pouhon right now. And if you can make those incremental advantages work for you, you know, you can get better finishes out of them.
Absolutely. Well, he's putting pressure right now on James Bailey, trying to take that 2nd place away. Just keeping those headlights in that rearview mirror or cameras they have on these modern cars nowadays. So these guys are actually looking at digital cameras instead of mirrors, but definitely putting some pressure on that Ferrari.
Yeah, and the biggest benefactor of this is actually Derek Folk, who's able to stretch his lead out to almost a 2nd now. It's the most daylight he's had between him and Bailey since the start of the race. So Gardner's starting to slip back a little bit right now. He's got some pressure. He's got Corey Patton or Samuel Yosef just behind him, it looks like. Samuel Yosef, yeah, Corey Patton just got around him, and Samuel Yosef now putting pressure on Jeremy Gardner. And Jeremy Gardner looks like he might be close to giving up a spot here as they head through the final chicane here and onto the front stretch. He's able to hold on to the position, but Jeremy Gardner off pace for some reason. Well, all you Big Daddy fans don't need to worry. He's always there at the end of the race. He's amazing on pit road. He knows what it takes to win. He does pretty well in the rain. So if it does rain, I still look for him to be at least top 5 by the end of the night.
Well, that's a possibility for Gardner. We know that he had that spin last week and was able to get back up into the 3rd position. So definitely a strong car out there. We'll see what he can do here tonight. But, man, the competition looks really stiff at the moment. Looking at Cody Jacob right now, he's another driver running the Mercedes. So out there it looks like the Mercedes is a little bit stronger, a little bit more popular tonight here at Spa.
Yeah, he's trying to chase down the number 118 of Andrew McGarrigle, only about a 2nd in front of him, seeing if he can run him down. Because we're looking at McGarrigle now.
Yeah, McGarrigle just got in the dirt, and that's going to allow Tyler Brown in the dirt, sorry. And that's going to allow him to get past there. So a mistake by Tyler Brown, and that moved that car up another position.
That's now McGarrigle has about, they're about 7 seconds behind the lead pack. So this is kind of your 3-horse race for 4th right now, as the 3 cars ahead have pulled away by about 7 or 8 seconds.
Yeah, Tyler Brown now putting pressure back on Andrew McGarrigle, seeing if he can get by here. Going down the straight here, getting in the turn. This is a tricky spot to do it, but they are running a higher downforce, and it looks like he's down on the inside. And he's going to get it done as they head down into the last turn before the chicane.
Well, Tyler Brown absolutely just held the pedal down through Blanchimont, and he makes it work, and they're going to go heavy braking here into turns 18 and 19. He has the inside line going to 19. Can he get ahead? Brown's going to be ahead, but here comes a run. And it doesn't look like he's going to have it there. And who's that? That is McGarrigle is going to stay in front of him as they go head down towards turn 1.
Yeah, and we'll see if he can do it going through Eau Rouge. But he does have some pressure now with Cody Jacob up in this battle, as we mentioned him earlier. They head down the hill up towards Eau Rouge. We'll see if he can get a run. The Mustangs are pretty strong, and so is the Mercedes. They're both running those V8s. We'll see if he can get a nice run coming up the hill here, but it doesn't look like he's quite got it. Got a little bit of a toe there. We'll see if we can get him in the braking zone.
Well, it's a long straightaway down the Camel Straight. We'll see if they can, how late they can break into Lacombe and make the pass. It doesn't look like he's going to do it there. Tyler Brown's going to sit back for at least one more turn, maybe have something for him through the Rivage as we head down the hills.
Going down the hill, they're going to stay single file right now. It looks like they're going to cool this battle down for the moment. Oh, and it looks like McGarrigle swung out wide. It's going to allow Tyler Brown to take a peek, but nothing doing. But that Mercedes is all over the back of him.
Yep, we've seen the moves that Tyler Brown is willing to try. This is another high-speed double left-hander. Doesn't look like he's close enough to try anything here, but he might set up in turns 12 and 13. I think he's got to close it up just a little bit before he can make another big move.
Well, Corey, I'm looking at the weather radar right now, and it looks like we're about 15, 20 minutes away, but it does look kind of spotty out there. I don't expect a heavy downpour, so I do expect some type of shower activity here, probably in about 20 minutes. So that's going to be very close to their pit stop cycle, which, like I said, they can go about almost 30 minutes on a tank of fuel with 50% fuel. So we'll see what happens, who's going to take wets or not, but I'm pretty sure it's going to rain.
Well, as long as it's dry in this broadcast booth, I'm good.
Well, yeah, it should be dry. I don't plan on standing out there while it's raining.
We're following Zachary Minnis, who in the number 31, riding around in 11th place, but he's also riding around with no rear wing, as you can see off the track there through the gravel. Now he's going to ride through the grass. Doesn't have a lot of downforce on that car, and he's going to keep fading back. He's already back to 15th, down 8 spots from where he started. Yeah,
he's going to need to head to pit lane, and he does. He needs to get that repaired. There's no way you can go around Spa here without a wing. The track is just too fast.
So that's going to cost him a lot of spots, and that's going to allow Samuel Eggy up to 14th place now in his Ford Mustang.
Yep, Samuel Eggy up there right now. He's got Jason Black just behind him as they head down the hill towards Eau Rouge. And that's a quite interesting paint scheme. There's a couple cars out there with the same paint scheme that Samuel Eggy's running, so I imagine these guys are all teammates. As this series has been growing leaps and bounds over this season.
Yeah, it seems like everybody's bringing their friends in, and they love the fact that, you know, we love Goat Locker's mission here and the veterans and first responders we take care of. They love the camaraderie and the people. Everybody's, for the most part, pretty chill. And, hey, a free series that's broadcasted by, obviously, the best broadcasters in all of iRacing. Who could ask for anything more?
Yeah, who can? Yeah. And, we got an attempt for the pass here. It looks like trying to get that done. Couldn't quite get there. Looking at Castro right now.
I see him riding around in his McLaren trying to get a move made on, I believe that's Skylar Daly in front of him.
Yeah, it is Skylar Daly just ahead of him there. Speaking of cars that with similar paint jobs, there's another one of those yellow and pink Mustangs. So out there, Skylar Daly currently running in 16th, and he's got pressure from that McLaren back there. But while we were talking about this series growing, one thing I was getting ready to bring up was our Warrior Spotlight. This is a first responder and veteran-oriented league, and we have our 13th sim rig recipient, Mike Swanson. He's our very first responder that we've given a sim rig to. Mike is from Indiana and served in the United States Air Force for 4 years, and then the fire service. During his time, he deployed to Korea, Pakistan in support of our great nation. Upon returning home, he decided to continue his career in the fire services. He had been a firefighter in the Indianapolis Fire Department for the past 20 years. Mike was introduced to racing by his father, who used to take Mike and his brother to Road America for IndyCar when they were young. Mike has now taken family to the races at Road America. Mike also enjoys IMSA racing and F1. We're proud and welcome him to the Goat Locker Racing family.
So a big welcome aboard to Mike Swartz, and obviously a very worthy recipient. You check all the boxes, you get to the veteran and the first responder. You couldn't ask for much more than that. So hopefully here soon we'll get to see him on track in some of these series, maybe even this one coming up here pretty soon.
Well, we've got veterans and first responders right here in the booth, all three of us, Tim Jones, you, and myself, all first responders and veterans. So when we say it's a veteran and first responder oriented league, we prove it in all aspects.
As we're looking at Chad Gross in the 317 right now, he's trying to chase down Jeremy Gardner, who is in 10th. He's a couple seconds behind him, but behind him is the 111 of Eric Burke. Eric Burke also in a Ford Mustang, just like Chad's, as they're working their way down the no-name, down towards Pujon, heading with a lot of speed into that downhill turn.
Yeah, and getting through it quite well. I imagine as these tires get a little bit older, it's going to be a little more difficult, but getting through that turn very nicely. As it looks like we're looking back up front here. Oh, no, we're looking back for the 5th position here. It looks like Brown running in 5th.
Yep, he's got Cody Jacob about a second and a half behind him as they head down towards Blanchimont. Full throttle. You see, we've seen Tyler Brown all night. Doesn't lift whatsoever heading into there, and it's going to be a drag race coming out of the chicane. They're going to make the right and then the sharp left. What's it going to look like? It looks like Tyler Brown's got the advantage, but a big run. And he's going to hold on to that spot as McGarrigle as they head down towards turn 1, La Source.
Pretty much the same thing happened the last time we had the cameras on him there. Oh, almost gets into the back market of Andrew there and able to keep it off of him as they head down the hill here. But that was a close call. But these three have been battling all night so far. So I imagine they're probably looking for some type of advantage over each other and maybe waiting for that first pit stop to maybe shake up this train.
Well, that La Source turn 1 is so sharp that you, if the guy behind you slows down just a little bit later, you can end up right on top of each other, which we saw all three of those cars, McGarrigle, Brown, and Jacob, all on top of each other.
You can see Tyler Brown now taking another attempt here on the inside. Couldn't quite get it done, but that's going to allow Cody Jacob on his outside, trying to take that Mercedes around the outside, and doesn't look like he's going to clear him, but they go side by side downhill.
Working the way
very
into
tricky
downhill
180-degree
Ravage.
turn here.
Brown's going to have the advantage, but it looks like Jacob's going to switch back and try to set up for a faster run coming out of the no-name straight. Headed downhill towards Pujon again, side by side. Brown's going to have the advantage on the inside line, gets in front of him, but Jacob's going to switch it back. They're going to be dragged. Oh, there's contact, and they're both off. Both sustain damage. It looks like Brown's in the dirt. Going to kick gravel everywhere. As we go to the VSPEED instant replay, you see they were downhill towards in turn 10. Big contact there. Let's take a look again. Back it up. Here they come, side by side, banging doors. Jacob makes the switch back. Brown comes in front. Oh, and it gets takes the quarter panel out. But a couple of casualties there as Jacob's going to lose his rear wing, and both cars are probably going to have to pit.
Yeah, I think Tyler Brown just towed the pit lane just as you were talking about him. You see him off the track there. So it's unfortunate for Tyler. But I seen that coming. Him and Cody were just going at it, door handle to door handle, and it looks like neither one of them wanted to give. And, you know, in that kind of case, you know, this early in the race probably isn't so wise to be battling that hard. But those guys wanted that position, and just neither one of them were given an inch.
As we're now looking back at the leaders, here comes Tyrums making a move to the inside for the lead. And his Mercedes, they're heading down the Campbell Straight towards Lacombe, turns 5, quickly a 6th and a 7th. Who's going to get in there the latest? It looks like Folk's going to get in behind him and stay there. Setting up for turn 7. It looks like he's going to try to get a run heading down towards Rivage.
Yeah, you can see Tyrums got that position away from Derek, and now Derek is looking to regain that position. But, you know, Tyrums was back in 3rd the last time we were following him. Tries to run that Mustang out high. Derek Folk tries to run that Mustang out high to try to get an advantage to get a run back down the straightaway. It looks like he does have a little bit of wind there, but couldn't quite get there as they head downhill into the double apex here. Still nothing doing as we're watching Derek Tyrums slowly pull away now.
Well, I think I think Falk is right on Tierms. I think he's waiting for him to make a mistake. We'll have to see if he does, or if Falk's going to have to make a dive here as they're working their way through Paul Frere right now. They're in Blanchimont. We're going to see who's going to blink first as they hit along this long straightaway.
Yeah, and Derek Tierms already got 2 wins on the season. He actually gained a position on James Bailey. Like I said, last time we were following him, he's back there in 3rd. So up 2 spots to take the lead. He'll get credit for the lead if he crosses the line in the lead as they head down through the final straight here onto this chicane. You can see it looks like Folk is going to take another peek with that Mustang. And the leader goes around. So Tierms goes around in the Mercedes right on the last chicane.
Yeah, it looked like Tierms was guarding to the inside just a little bit, trying to give Falk the outside, the normal line, but it looks like he got back in the gas too early. Maybe hit some rubber marbles. We take a look at the VSPEED instant replay. We're going to go back. Nope, not that far. All right, we're back to live. Yep. So now we got Falk with a clear lead. He's 2.5 seconds ahead of James Bailey. I was actually going to say just before that happened, I was like, Bailey might be in a great spot here because if Falk and Tierms take each other out, well, that just leaves James Bailey with a 10-second lead over who's down in 4th place, Ryzen Baker, or Andrew McGarrigle.
You know, what Derek Tierms did, though, after that incident is he went straight to pit lane. So, you know, that might be a good strategy. And it wasn't that he needed to get the car repaired, but the way the fuel is here, and if they do have to make an additional stop, whether it's rain or whatever, it might not hurt him that bad. So he just went straight to pit lane and see if he can recover after all the pit cycle shakes out.
Well, we got about an hour and a half left. And so, yeah, we were talking about that 50% fuel load and how they were probably only going to make it about 25, 30 minutes. And so you can take a scheduled stop, get any repairs you need, and be right back on the track with minimal losses.
Yeah, right now we're watching this battle with Chad Gross right now and Jeremy Gardner. Jeremy Gardner currently in the 8th position, Chad Gross in 7th. So Gardner has been starting to make some gains now. When we last followed Gardner, he was actually slipping back, but it looks like Gardner's up a position or 2. But he's got Chad Gross, looks like just ahead of him. Or I'm sorry, that is Chad
Gross.
That's Chad Gross. Yeah.
Yep, about a second ahead of Gardner as Gardner's making his way down towards turns 12 and 13.
Looking at Samuel Yosef right now, currently running in the 13th position, or 12th position, excuse me. Samuel Yosef's got Jason Black just ahead of him there, putting some pressure on there as they go through the S's here, through these turns. Nice sweeping left-hander. Slips up there a little bit there, so it looks like he's got a Lamborghini on his inside. I believe that was Jason Black. Yes, it was. Jason Black took a peek, backed out of it. So these guys are racing wisely.
3-car race for 10th place right now. Samuel Eggy out in front. A second up on Yosef, who's got Black now 8 tenths behind him. They can start to stretch it out a little bit, but they'll be right on top of each other here in a few turns. Going back a little further, Lucas Lyons and Skylar Daly fighting for 14th. Lucas Lyons up a lot of spots. He started almost in the back. He had 31 cars on track to start the race. He goes a little bit wide right there. Maybe a little too much speed carrying around, but he's right next to Skylar Daly as they're making their way through turns 18 and 19.
Yeah, a car we haven't seen too much of, and you can see that car headed to pit lane is Skylar Daly. But we see Lucas Lyons in the BMW, a car we haven't seen much out there this season. So out there representing BMW. So he's trying something different tonight here at Spa.
Yep, Lucas Lyons benefiting. He's now up to 11th because of a couple of pit road takers. We have about 7 cars on pit road right now getting that full tank of gas to take them another hour or so into this race.
Yeah, well, you know, I noticed from all the cars that went onto pit lane, nobody's taking rain tires. And I'm taking a peek here at the radar. And so looks like we're about 5-10 minutes away from maybe some shower activity. So we might see another cycle from all these guys if they have to take on wets.
Yeah, it's a risky strategy to take wets for rain that isn't necessarily guaranteed on all parts of the track. Depending on how heavy the rain is, you can get around this track okay on slicks in the wet. It's obviously slow, but rain tires of the dry is also slow, right? So it's a weighted decision as we're now following James Bailey, who's in the lead after a Derek Folk mistake. Derek Folk lost the lead at some point. He's now 4 seconds back and fading. We'll have to take a look at what happened to him.
Yeah, looking back now, I'm not sure what happened. He's headed to pit lane, but must have had an off track there somewhere. Our leader, everybody having issues. It's not even raining, but you're right there, Corey, about taking rain tires too early. I never want to take tires unless I'm 100% certain it's going to rain, and it's got to rain within, the next few laps, because you do wear the tread off those tires really quick if you're out there running wet tires on a dry track.
Yep, so let's take the VSPEED into the replay. Let's see if we can figure out what happened to Derek Folk, and it looks like he just lost it right there in turn 19. It just comes to bite so many people. Take one more look at it. Yep, looks like he caught a little bit of the curb, and that's all it takes right there in that part of the track.
Yeah, and we'll head on to pit lane and make his stop. And you can see him there getting service on that Mustang. No damage, but going to get his pit stop completed. Still a strong car. Don't count him out, that's for sure. You can see pit lane is just lined up with cars right now as we're back to our leader, James Bailey, in that Ferrari.
Yep, only 2 cars haven't taken their first service yet. That's the 16 of Jamie Lipke and our leader, James Bailey. So I would expect either of them to be on pit lane here any moment.
Still following James Bailey as he goes down the hill here, nice and smooth. I imagine he can't go too much further in that Ferrari, that turbocharged V6. Looks like well, I guess there is a sponsor on that. Can't really make it out. It's still kind of dark yet, but out there in that purple Ferrari showing everybody how it's done at the moment. But has taken advantage of other leaders' misfortune right now and finds himself in that podium spot or that first place position.
Yep, another thing we talked about at the top of the show was, being fast is obviously great, but it just like keeping it on the track is the key to finishing high in this race. And if James Bailey can make very few mistakes, then he might capitalize and end up winning this race.
Yeah, very well could. Watching another battle here. It looks like we got Baker I can't even say his name. Andrew Baker and Gross out there battle. Oh, just as we put the camera on him, Baker goes around in that Porsche. So Ryzen Baker out in the sand, going to have to back that thing up. And I believe that is a situation where you're out there on those fresh tires. The tires just haven't warmed up yet.
Nope. And now he's going to be 10 seconds behind Andrew McGarrigle for third right now. Still a long way to go in this race, but that's going to put him behind the 8 ball there as we're now checking out the 6th place car, Tyler Justice.
Tyler Justice, Mr. Consistent out there in that top 5 position. So Tyler, as usual, we talk about it every race, it seems like, just super strong out there, super consistent, back in the McLaren. So in a car that he's very familiar with, pretty much ran that all season. And I said he was in 5th, but it was during the pit cycles. He's in 6th currently, but still having a really strong night.
Yep, he's on his out lap right now. He took 4 fresh tires. A pretty good mix of strategy here. A lot of 4-tire takers here, but a lot of fuel-only folks too. So we'll have to see how that strategy plays out over the next 90 minutes.
Yeah, be exciting here as we're looking at the fourth place battle here. Chad Gross up there putting some pressure on Andrew McGargle. Marigal? How do you say that again, Corey? I'm going to mess up this name all night. I can look at that and I can just go full dyslexic every time I see it.
McGarrigle, we got you.
McGarrigle, I'll get it.
That's why there's 2 of us up here.
But McGarrigle is under all kinds of pressure right now. Chad Gross going up the hill through Eau Rouge. Got to run, got that Mustang. We've seen this before. That Mustang can get up there going in, but can't seem to hold onto it once they get to the corners.
Well, this was a pair of contrasting strategies here. Gross took fuel only had a 28-second pit stop, but McGarrigle had a 42, which would indicate to me he took all 4 tires. So maybe just not up to temp yet, or maybe Chad Gross is just really good at taking care of his stuff. Either way, he's up to 3rd.
Yeah, and it is interesting. Like I said, they can take 100% fuel, so putting tires on doesn't hurt, although being out there on cold tires definitely makes you slower for a couple laps. So that's the one thing they got to factor in. But being that they're allowed to take 100% fuel now that the race has started, it definitely doesn't hurt you for time taking tires, but does hurt you once you get back on the track.
Absolutely not. While we have a second, why don't we talk about Save 22? Save 22 is a 501c3 organization dedicated to preventing suicide among veterans, active duty personnel, and first responders. Our unwavering mission extends to 4 critical pillars: shield, assist, volunteer, educate, save.
There you have it, Save 22. Oh, awesome being part of this group. Awesome being here tonight as we're watching this 3-car battle going on right now. Got Browning, Aggie, and Black all running the train out here, headed down the hill.
Battle for 14th rages on, all right on top of each other. No room for mistakes here. You could end up in the pits with damage if you make a mistake in this kind of traffic, but you could also make huge gains in points if you can get ahead of them.
Samuel Aggie leading this 3-car battle right now. It looks like Jason Black is putting pressure on that McLaren of Mike Browning just behind these two. Couldn't quite make it happen there either, so still falling back in line with the Lamborghini.
Yeah, Black 4/10 behind Browning. Plenty of space to make some gains as they're heading down towards the chicane. How late do you want to brake? Big gains to be made. Let's see if there's a move from Browning, or from Black, I'm sorry. No. Oh, he's going to try something. It looks like there was a little bit of a traffic jam there behind Eggy, and now they're all sorted out and heading towards the start-finish line.
Yeah, Aggie was really slow getting into the chicane there. Allowed those guys to really run him down. I'm not sure why Aggie was so early on the brakes there, but everybody really had to check up for him. As we're looking at Browning right now in that McLaren, and that Jason Black in the Lamborghini trying to chase him down as they head downhill into Eau Rouge.
Down the hill, bottom out, back up the hill, up Radillon, down the Kemmel Straight. Lots of speed to be had here. As we see Black right on the back bumper of Browning with the race for 13th out the front window. There's rain in turns 5 and 6 in Lacombe. We'll have to see if it's going to spread to the rest of the track. Let me take a look at my own personal weather radar. Yeah, it's only raining right now in Lacombe and Rivage, but a little bit also down in the turns 14 and 15. So the rain is on its way, and we'll have to see how the strategies are going to play out here.
Yeah, and some of that rain on at least half the track. It looks like the part of the track that's raining now might dry up, and it looks like the other half of the track is going to get some heavy rain. So we'll see how long these guys are willing to stay out and take a risk, wondering if it's going to be a solid rain or not. But I imagine that the pucker factor is starting now as they're heading through these corners, running on a lot slicker track.
Back on board with the 11th place car of Corey Patton. He's 7/10 behind Eric Burke, who is in 10th. And they're working their way down a wet part of the track. They're headed through Blanchimont, which I don't think we're taking at full throttle anymore at the moment. We'll have to see if they come down for pit road. As Zachary Minnis is going to be the first car to come down for rain tires.
So we got our first takers here as we're watching Zachary Minnis head to his pit box. And looks like we have another car, Corey Patton, on pit lane as well.
Corey Patton peels off, and he's going to come get 4 rain tires as well.
So the strategy has started, and these guys are banking on it raining a little bit harder. And if it doesn't rain any harder, it's going to allow some of these guys out on the slicks to stay out and gain some time. However, if it really starts raining, you can see as we look at Rise and Baker how this part of the track isn't quite as wet as the other part as they head down Kemmel Stretch here and into the turn. I don't see a lot of rain in this section of the track. There's no spray coming off the rear of these cars, but as they head down the hill here is where it was raining earlier. We'll see if any spray starts coming off these cars.
Well, let's look back about 10 minutes strategy-wise, and we can now determine that fuel only was definitely the call, because 15 seconds lost getting to fresh tires that you're only going to run for 15 minutes if you come change them out for rain tires. So, yeah, and, having a sound strategy is definitely going to pay off here as we continue on.
Most definitely. Just looking at that rain, yeah, it looks like the rain is gonna stop here for a little bit anyway, and maybe pick up here in another 5 minutes. So right now, it doesn't look like it's gonna rain too hard on the track, and perhaps pick up a little bit later as we're watching Samuel Agee right now. Samuel Agee currently running in 14th, surrounded by a whole line of cars here. It looks like we got Jason Black in this mix and Zachary Minnis all fighting for position up here.
Yep, we did have a third and fourth set of takers on the rain tires. We had James Goshen and Samuel Yosef come down. So now four drivers out of the 31 that started on rain tires. We're going to see if that pays off or not.
Yeah, it's a bold strategy. We just watched Logan Threlkeld get around. Oh, there's a car going around just in front of him there. That was the Corvette of Zachary Minnis. So Zachary Minnis goes around right in front of these guys. We're going to go back and take another look and see what exactly happened here.
It was a five-car procession for 10th place, and it looks like he just lost it. A little bit of moisture on that part of the track, not heavy rain, but just enough to get him around.
Everybody was luckily skated by that incident. No harm, no foul, but Zachary Minnis definitely suffered from that mistake there. And like you said, probably really slick on that portion of the track.
Well, Zachary Minnis was actually on rain tires, so that's interesting that he slipped that much. I don't know if they were just too warm from the dry parts of the track or what, but we'll see if we can investigate that for you.
As we're watching Black now, Jason Black just behind Logan Threlkeld here. Logan Threlkeld, who we just moved to there. You can see him. We haven't seen him in a couple of weeks. Logan's been really strong on the road courses. Not having probably the best night that he wants to have. There's a little bit of rain here on the front stretch right now, but putting some pressure on that car in front of him with Samuel Agee in that Mustang.
Yeah, nice to see Logan Threlkeld put the front end back on that car. And is still having some success out there. A long way to go. Still currently in 11th place, trying to get 10th. Once again,
all right, here it is, Corey.
What do you got?
I just got another update of the weather here, and it looks like rain is going to be kind of solid for a little bit here, coming up in the next couple of minutes. So I think
cars on rain tires. We'll have to see if that ends up being a call that more people want to make here, or if they think they can get around and make up all that time on pit road just by slowing down a little bit on their slicks.
Looking at Jason Kristen right now going up the hill through Eau Rouge, and gets by that car just in front of him. Oh no, didn't quite get by, and that would have been Samuel Yosef, I believe. No, Corey Patton. So Corey Patton just ahead of him there as we're riding along with Kristen there. So Corey Patton just ahead of that car.
Yeah, Kristen started 24th up to 20th now, and he's kind of tiptoeing around on those slick tires still and getting passed by a couple guys on slicks, or on rain tires, excuse me. So he's still doing all right for himself. Just got to take it easy and if the weather will come back in his favor.
Yeah, it looks like it's starting to rain a little bit harder out there. It looks like we're back to I want to say that was Jason Black in that Lamborghini. So Jason Black. Oh, we got a Porsche off there. Was that Logan Threlkeld? I believe it was. So Logan Threlkeld gets a little slippery there, and I think these guys are going to start screaming for rain tires. It looks like the rain is really picking up.
Fortunately, Logan Threlkeld is going to lose a spot or two from that. Now back to 13th, but doesn't look like he has any damage from it, so he's just got a little bit of time to make up.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you want. You don't want to end up in the wall. He's going to head down in here to the chicane. He's looking at, I don't know who the heck we're looking at right now. Mike Browning right now currently running in 12th as they pass the pit lane entrance, so they're going to stay out at least another lap and take their chances and try to keep all four wheels on the track.
You can see it's a 5-horse race for 10th place right now. A lot of good action on the track. All of them still on slicks, so they're going to be dancing around, and hopefully they don't end up taking each other out, overcooking it through the corners.
Yeah, dancing is right, because about halfway down, they get past Eau Rouge here, it really starts raining. So these guys are going to go from a fairly dry track here on the front, and then as they head down this Kimmel stretch here, you can see that the rain's starting to pick up, and the track gets a lot wetter the further they go.
Well, let's just watch the car out the front of the window here. Jason Black, let's see when he lifts. Looks like he's lifting and braking a little bit earlier than you would. So, and oh, looks like Logan had a little bit of an excursion there on the off-road, but he's back on track. Going to lose a couple more spots, but again, he'll be all right. Now back to 14th.
Yeah. Nothing like riding along with the guy that makes that mistake into that braking zone. So, but again, Logan got lucky and able to hang on to that Porsche. We're looking at a replay. Go ahead.
Sixth place. Let's see what happened to him. Yep, washed up on the painted curb and went for a ride into the gravel. Those curbs, well, they're painted, and when they get wet, they're basically blocks of ice. And so let's see. He's still in sixth place. He'll be all right, but gonna lose some time to the leaders. Speaking
of the leader, I just happened to look up at the leader. So the leader, James Bailey, has got a whole bunch of lap traffic in front of him. Got Jason Kristen, who he's coming up on right now, but there's a bunch of lap cars just slipping and sliding all over the place in front of him. So, and just as I said it, the leader spins along with that lap car. So Jason Kristen was able to hang on to it, but got that Ferrari totally sideways, but he did save it. So really slick out there right now.
Well, he's got a 57-second in opening lead because second through seventh have all come down for rain tires. So he is out there by himself on slicks. It's going to be an interesting strategy call as he comes down towards turn 12. Will he hit pit road this time? As you can see, Derek Folk now on his out lap from getting rain tires. Let's see if he can make some of this time up. He's quickly faster as Bailey is slipping and sliding. I cannot believe he's not going to come down for rain tires this time. He's also dodging wrecked cars.
Yeah, there's a bunch of cars spinning out all around our leader right now, trying to nurse that Ferrari to pit lane to get some rain tires on that thing. You can see Jason Kristen looking at Corey Patton there. We're going to take another look at this here. Corey Patton gets that Mustang sideways there, and you can see our leader was just behind him. And locked it down and let everybody by.
Yeah, a lot of, if you're looking at your track map at home, a lot of local area cautions for cars spinning out. If you're not on rain tires yet, you need to be, as we're going to have to watch the leader, Jason Bailey. He's in the turn 18 chicane right now, and it looks like he will be coming to get rain tires.
He's probably thanking his lucky stars he even made it to pit lane the way he was able to hang on to that Ferrari, but he got that thing sideways a couple of times as he's pushing. He spun somebody out going onto pit lane. So there was an incident with our leader, James Bailey. There was a slower car in front of him, got into the back of him on pit lane entry. We're going to take a look at this. So we're going on to pit lane. Not really, we don't really have a good camera angle here, but he gets into the back of the car in front of him and just spins him around and spins that McLaren out. It doesn't look like it hurt our leader, but the leader having all kinds of struggles getting onto pit lane here.
And that's the, looks like it's the 20 car of Cody Jacob, maybe? I couldn't tell.
I couldn't tell either.
Number, but either way, that's not how you want your race to go for either one. Oh, it was the 215 of Damian Castro and McLaren. So now Derek Folk in second. He's coming around turn 19 right now, and James Bailey is just left pit road and is working his way down the hill towards Eau Rouge. So still about 19 seconds, even with James Bailey making that mistake in down Ravage last lap.
Yeah, and he's trying to get the tires warmed up, the leader that is, James Bailey, trying to get those tires warmed up so he can keep that gap. It's down to about 17 and a half seconds over Derek Folk. That's the gap between our leader and second place. So after this pit cycle, good pit strategy. Almost maybe kept that Ferrari out a lap too long, but looks like he is out there finally. Oh, he's going to go around again. So our leader, James Bailey, after taking fresh wets out there on those cold tires, trying to get that Ferrari back on the track. We'll see if he can hold on to the lead after this. He will, but that's going to shorten that gap up to about 10 seconds.
Yep, Derek Folk is making gains, just trying to keep it on track and hoping for some more James Bailey mistakes. You can see Derek Folk making his way through.
Yeah,
10.5 seconds right now.
James Bailey just as late, just having all kinds of struggles here. And you know, Derek Folk is probably looking at his relative right now saying, wow, I keep on making big gains. I need to keep the pressure on and keep trying to get this Mustang where we're back on our leader there. We'll see how he gets through the corner. He's still got some lap traffic up there ahead of him. Jamie Lipke is going to be the next car. He's going to put a lap down there. You can see Jamie Lipke just ahead of him in that Porsche. We haven't talked about her too much tonight, but having an okay night, but currently running in the top 15. Oh, he gets sideways again, our leader. James Bailey, just all kinds of struggles with his car.
Yeah, if I'm the crew chief of this team, I'm saying, all right, hey, just get this thing around. Don't worry about your lap times. As you can see Jamie Lipke up 11 spots in 15th, just getting this car around track, and she's doing a good job out there, trying to have a nice points night. Currently in 12th in points, and she'd love to make up some ground on the top 10.
Absolutely. James Bailey, though, I wonder if that Ferrari is really equipped for wet weather, because it looks like it's certainly struggling out there tonight. You know, the talk of the town was that Mustang maybe having some struggles out there in the wet, but it looks like that Ferrari is really, maybe that turbocharged V6 is really hampering this thing in the rain, but he's currently only got about an 8.5 second lead over Derek Folk. That, like I said, that league has been shrinking out here in the wet.
Yep, and we see Derek Folk still making up ground, down to 9 seconds. Still a ways to go. Just needs some consistency. Needs to have some decent laps and put the pressure on James Bailey.
Well, it looks like the rain is starting to move away, so it looks like maybe another lap or two it's going to stop raining. So the question is now is how long will it take to dry this track out, and when will these guys maybe go back to slicks, or will we stay wet for the rest of the race? Going to have to wait and see, as we're looking at Andrew McGarrigle. I'll get it. McGarrigle. I got to think like Marigold or something. I got to think of something that rhymes. But
we'll get you there. It's all right. Well, all right. Well, let me take this. All right, McGarrigle, he's having a nice race. He started 5th, but he's up to 3rd right now. He's on the wet tires. The only person not on the wet tires right now who's on track is Samuel Eggy, and I think it might just. Oh, he's towing. That's why. So. Yeah, everybody on track right now on the wets. That strategy's out the window right now. There's no real alternate strategy. The next call is going to be when do I go get slicks if I can. And we'll see if we make those. Now we're taking a look at Ryzen Baker, up 5 spots from where he started, making his way up Radillon down the Camel Straight. He is currently about 2.5 seconds behind Andrew McGarrigle. And about 37 seconds behind James Bailey, who's leading the race.
Yeah, James Bailey is starting to open that up a little bit here. Looking back right now at Tyler Justice in that McLaren. Tyler Justice having the solid night, up 6 spots from his 11th starting position, currently running in the top 5, doing what he has done every race. Just behind him, you got Jeremy Gardner, another one of those consistent drivers. Jeremy Gardner, you can see that Mustang come into focus right now, currently running in 6th. Jeremy Gardner started in 13th, so he fell back early in the race, but he has made back those positions and is gaining. So he's found some speed in that Mustang. Maybe he finally learned how to drive that thing.
Do we dare say podium?
Oh, I don't know. It's possible. You know, I know Jeremy probably wants that stat to have solid podium finishes. We'll see. I think he's got a tough hill to climb. Let's see. He's about 20 seconds behind 3rd place. So that's what he's going to have to make up between now and the end of this race. And he's got a little over an hour to do it.
Back on board with James Bailey making his way through turn 19. Looks like he's a little bit smoother. Looks like he's back down a little bit, but keeping the lead, keeping his lead between about 7 and 10 seconds. He's doing a pretty good job now. I think he's settled into this wet weather, and we'll see what he's got for the rest of the race.
Yeah, and he's been doing a good job with that Ferrari as of late. Now starting to not as we look at Jason Black currently running in the 21st position here. We're looking at an incident. You can see that, that it looks like something happened to him earlier in that Lamborghini. You can see the front end all crushed in that thing. He's trying to find his way to pit lane. Didn't quite make it there as he slid through that that chicane there and had to tow it to pit lane. So that's what happened to Jason.
Gonna need an insurance adjuster for that one, I think.
Yep.
It's definitely a tough track to get around. We see about 7 cars right now with black flags. So a lot of off tracks, slipping and sliding around. They can add up for you and take you out of this race before a wreck does.
Yeah, it looks like 8th place. Chad Gross got a black flag here. So he started in 4th. Looks like the wing is missing off that Mustang, so something happened to him, and I think he's got a black flag. It's a meatball flag, I think is what's going on, or it could be an incident penalty. These guys are allowed to have 16 incident points, which is, it's a lot, but it's not when you're talking about rain and a 2-hour race. So, you know, I imagine that we might see some drive-through, but I think more importantly for Chad Gross here is he needs to get in there and get a wing on that Mustang.
Well, Chad's already used his fast repair, so he's going to have to sit through this one, and whatever happens, happens for him.
And we watched him. Yeah, we watched him loop it there, but he's headed to pit lane and maybe get some repairs on this Mustang. Yeah, like you said, he's already used his fast repair, but try to get some damage knocked out of that Mustang and get back on track.
Taking a look at Ryzen Baker in the 77, now up to 4th place as he's going to get past Chad Gross, who's now on pit lane right behind his teammate, Andrew McGarrigle. So a battle for 3rd, that last podium spot, shaping up between 2 teammates. Only half a second is going to separate them, but we still got 66 minutes to go. We'll have to see what this looks like and what kind of considerations you give your teammate in a race where you're not really a team, you're just out there for yourself.
Yeah, I think right now they'll probably be respectful, but you know, like any racer, they're gonna get after it when the time comes, and you know, it's still a long ways to go, over an hour to go. So these guys are just trying to make it through here on the wet track on their rain tires, try to make it through this session, and hope that the track dries out where they can put some fast lap times down. But it looks like Ryzen Baker is going to try an attempt on his teammate, going to the inside there, make a little contact. So there you go, Corey. Oh, and it looks like McGarrigle is going to challenge back.
There was some contact right before they got to Blanchimont as they're heading down towards the last chicane on the lap, and it looks like they might be side by side. Nope, they're going to single file up here. Looks like they might behave going through here, but get through the wet. If you can get back on that gas just a little bit sooner and not spin out, you're definitely going to be at a huge advantage.
Yeah, you can see Ryzen Baker was able to take that position away from his teammate. And so that's going to move him up a spot. So Ryzen Baker now finds himself on a podium spot at the moment. Got a bunch of slow cars on the track. I'm just looking at some things going on here, and it has to do with the rain here. It looks like Samuel Aggie might have had an incident. Not sure, but he's got that thing back on track. There is some damage on that Mustang of his, but as we're looking at Chris Jennings.
Side by side with Jamie Libke, they're going for 12th place. They're both a lap down, but still plenty to fight for as they get alongside, going through the Rivage, heading down towards the No Name. Looks like Jamie's going to hold it or Jamie's going to lose the spot for now and fall back to 13th, and Chris is going to take 12th.
Yeah, that looks like that's exactly what happened there. I'm trying to catch up here. It looks like Jamie Lipke. I'm looking at Chris Jennings right now in that Mustang as you can see him going down the hill here. Still pretty wet back there. It has stopped raining on the track, so good news for these drivers. This track is starting to dry out as we're back to this battle with our 2 teammates here.
Yeah, McGarrigle says he wants that podium spot back, and they're going to take it. It looks like they're working their way down. Oh, and there's a little bit of slip-ups as they make the right-hander.
McGarrigle got the advantage here.
Heading down towards turn 12, and there's contact, and they're both off the track. One's in the wall. Oh, my goodness, and they're still fighting for position.
Well, you know, they're getting a lot of TV time by doing this, so you can see McGarrigle holding on right now. Got the 77 of Ryzen Baker just behind him, And it looks like that battle is going to soften up just a little bit as he's opened up about a 3 or 4 car length now over his teammate, and maybe they can take a breather here for a moment.
Well, Baker got pushed into the tires. I don't wonder if Risen's got a little bit of damage. I wonder if he'll be able to continue at the same pace as McGarrigle as they continue to work their way down towards Blanchimont.
Head down through Blanchimont and then into the hard I can't even think straight right now watching this battle here. I headed for the next chicane. We've watched a lot of guys slide through this chicane, get up on the curb, and lose the rear end of the car. These guys are holding solid through here. We got one, the driver behind.
Yep.
It looks like,
Baker
the 118.
Damage in those tires earlier in the lap, so looks like he's going to come use his fast repair, top off on some gas, and maybe have something for McGarrigle a little bit later.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Interested on his tire strategy. I don't think the track is dry enough yet for any slicks, but as we watch him head down the pit lane. Back up front with our leader, James Bailey, cutting down the hill here. You can see that windshield wiper isn't on. It looks like the sun is about to come up. Still quite a bit of spray behind that Ferrari, but getting the job here done tonight. He has lost some time now. Just looking back at second place, Derek Folk. That gap has shrank now back to about 8 seconds. So you can see Derek Folk here running in that Mustang. So Derek Folk's hoping that James Bailey continues to make mistakes. I think James had some lap traffic that he had to get through. It might have slowed him down, but we've seen James make a few mistakes out here tonight, and that's what Derek Folk's going to need to try to get back up to the back bumper of that Ferrari.
Well, Bailey's got clear track ahead of him right now. He's got the 36 of Samuel Joseph about 15 seconds ahead, who's the last car in the lead lap currently. And so he's got, pretty smooth sailing for the next lap or two, but he'll start to get in there into the next few cars that are still on the lead lap, and hopefully he can get around them safely and maintain that lead. Well,
Tyler Justice is under threat right now. So Tyler Justice has got Ryzen Baker. I believe he made a pass on Ryzen because of that incident. But now Ryzen is putting all kinds of pressure on Tyler. So Tyler solidly running in that 5th position and trying to hold on to it, trying to hold off Ryzen Baker, who had that, like I said, that incident, had to go to pit lane, got that car fixed and topped off, and now wants that 5th position.
Well, the damage might have been minimal. It doesn't look like he took a fast repair. It might have just been a regular service. So it looks like he's just back on track, business as usual, and trying to get 4th place from Tyler Justice.
You can see him side by side right now, door handle to door handle. Does get that position from Tyler Justice with an aggressive move out there in the rain. It's kind of what you have to do out there. I'm kind of surprised, but that allowed Ryzen to get by Tyler Justice, and he's going to set his sights now on his teammate.
Well, turn 14 is not your normal passing zone here, but in the wet, if you've got the skill, you can take a chance and make it happen.
See, the sun is starting to break out there now. Headed into the final chicane, riding along here with Tyler Justice in the McLaren. Headed into that chicane, very easy on the brakes here in the wet. Another thing I wanted to mention earlier is when you're driving in the wet, not only do you have to pay attention to the curbs, but you also have to pay attention to the painted lines on the racetrack, because if you're straddling a white line and you get a rear tire on a white line, that could send you around as well. So these guys have to be very careful getting around this place. Oh, I thought Ryzen was going to go around there into turn 1, but was able to hang on to that Porsche and pull a little bit on Tyler Justice there.
Well, while Tyler Justice is trying to make his way back up, as we're ending in the final hour, there's one thing I'd like to talk about there. How about the Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs? INVETS, excuse me. INVETS aids in transitioning to civilian life, focusing on job placement and finding the right community for veterans and their families to ensure their success and happiness. They are a veteran nonprofit in Indiana with the goal of bringing veterans to that state to live and work. They are the title sponsor of the Sunday Night Truck Series. So we're happy to have INVETS on board as the title sponsor for tomorrow. So same time, same YouTube channel. You can watch the INVETS Sunday Night Truck Series, or excuse me, Friday Night Truck Series.
Friday night, yeah, that's it. Tomorrow night we got the Xfinity Series, so look forward to that right here on VSPEED. So I'll be back in the booth here on Sunday, so that'll be a lot of fun too as we're headed into the championship season for that series. But right now we're right here, GT3 sports car racing, looking at Tyler Justice here in that McLaren. Reisenbaker just ahead of him. Jeremy Gardner up to 6. We talked about him earlier. Jeremy Gardner trying to get up to that top 3 and keep his podium streak alive. He's got a tall order tonight, but with the wet track conditions and potentially another tire change in order, that still could be a real thing for him tonight.
Yeah, 57 minutes to go. You know, the people up front are not probably normally going to make mistakes like that, like some others might, but that's what's beautiful about this series is it's unpredictable. So as the track dries up, we'll have to see if he can make up some time on the people in front of him and see where he ends up here in the next 58 minutes. Oh, as he grabs the gravel with the left rear, gives us all a heart-stopping moment right there.
Well, it gives himself one, that's for sure. So that was a close call. Our leader, I just went back to our leader to see what he was doing, but we're riding along on board with Jeremy Gardner right now as he heads down into the final chicane here. You can see that track is starting to dry out a little bit. The spray's not as much, but doing his best to hold on that Mustang, waiting for this track to dry out. Like I said, we got a lot of time left in this race and anything could happen. So Jeremy Gardner looking at the car just ahead of him. Just taking a look here, Tyler Justice is the next car that Jeremy Gardner is going to have to work on, but it's got a little bit of a gap there, about 3.5 seconds before he gets up to Tyler.
As you see him working, oh, we're back on James Bailey, the 033, working his way down turns 12 and 13. Still about a 14-second lead. He's opened up on Derek Folk. I think just trying to take it easy and not overdo it has really been the secret to success. As he slips a little bit there. Track's still pretty wet, just not raining as bad, but he takes the alternate line there. You don't want to be on the rubberized line. Comes down through, heading towards 16 and 17.
Yeah, doing a solid job. I think something happened to Derek Folk because Derek Folk was only about 8 seconds back, and that lead now is doubled. So Derek Folk probably had an instant in his car, and that moved him back. So Derek Folk starting to struggle maybe a little bit with that Mustang, or got caught up in some lap traffic. But we're still riding along with our leaders. Goes through the last chicane there. James Bailey, that is. Got Samuel Yosef just ahead of him. See if he can, well, he's obviously been getting around these lap cars pretty easily. Samuel Yosef is the last car on the lead lap, so that's the next victim perhaps for James Bailey.
Well, big kudos to Samuel Yosef. He's running 8th. He started 16th, so we've seen him do pretty well. Pretty versatile on all the tracks, everything from late models to racing here. So having a good night for him and good points night. He's currently 9th in points. He's within striking distance of Logan Threlkeld. So Threlkeld back in 25th right now, 8 laps down and out of the race. So let's see what kind of ground Samuel Yosef can make out on this double points paying night, as he's going to let the leader go by as they head down into turns 5 and 6.
Yeah, definitely just good heads-up racing by Samuel. Letting the leader by, not to interfere with anybody's race, and I think that's pretty much the story of anybody's race tonight. All the accidents we've seen here tonight have been pretty much like self-spins. We've seen that one aggressive incident early in the race, but other than that, it's just a lot of guys dealing with the weather. I was just looking at the leader. He got sideways again, so still pretty slick out there. We're back on the leader here. But I thought he was going to wipe out there for a second. You see he's still struggling with that Ferrari again. So back to dealing with issues of the rear end of that Ferrari, trying to get the power planted down on the exit of these turns.
Yeah, I think you've got to lift up and not really run the normal line that takes you onto those painted curves. I just think that's just a recipe for disaster. He seems to make it work sometimes, but sometimes it seems to just kind of snap on him.
Well, the one thing about the Ferrari is that turbocharged engine, you know, it's got a smaller displacement. Ferrari went to this turbocharged V6. And the interesting thing about it is it's got really some low-end torque on that thing when the turbo kicks in. So you got to be very careful. It's very easy to light up the rear tires, even in the dry in the Ferrari, so let alone the wet. and that these guys are all running fixed setups. They aren't allowed to change their traction control or anything like that. So it's just a master of the throttle pedal, and that's kind of what James Bailey's probably having to deal with, while everyone else might have it a little easier.
Well, it's almost a disadvantage for some of these experienced guys, right? Because most of the time, even when they run fixed setups in like an official race or something like that, they can still play with those settings, but not here. You're stuck, and you're going to deal with whatever's thrown at you, and just have to make it work and adapt.
It's a nice thing about the series too is you get to pick the car that you want to drive here tonight. So it's not like they're at a total disadvantage. Some cars do handle better in the rain than others, and that could vary from season to season. I remember in the past that the Porsche used to be really popular in the rain. That seems to have fallen out of favor a little bit. I was always a big fan of the Corvette in the rain. For whatever reason, I could muscle that thing around in the rain. But some cars do well, and that also depends on the track as well.
Well, I've been stuck with the Porsche my entire time on this service. I've tried the other ones, but I can't make the Mustang work like Jeremy Gardner sitting in 6th right now. He's almost caught Tyler Justice for 5th. He's about a 2.25 seconds behind. Been catching him a little bit by little bit every lap, but he's almost there. He lost
Lost
the second last lap to Gardner. So here in the next few laps or so, I think it'll be a race for 5th.
Yeah, and I'm sure Jeremy won't be satisfied with 5th place either. So if he can get by Tyler Justice, going to start working on that 4th place, but going to have a lot more distance to make up. 4th place currently held by Ryzen Baker. Had that incident, or didn't have that incident, his teammate, I'm sorry, did have the incident back up to 4th place as we see him watch Jeremy Gardner go through the last chicane here. And you can see him close in now on Tyler Justice just a little bit more.
Take a look at Tyler Justice as he tries to keep Jeremy Gardner at bay, see what kind of line he takes and where Jeremy Gardner falls in line behind him.
Riding on board with Tyler Justice as they go through Eau Rouge here. I'm looking for a little bit of a dry line. I don't quite see one. You can see the sun glisten off that wet track as they go up the hill. Still have to be very careful here. Trying to get a tow. And it looks like isn't close enough just yet.
Well, Gardner is there, though. Gardner is going to be right behind. Justice couldn't get a tow off Lipke, who's a lap down, but Gardner has found Justice and is right there as they work their way through turns 5 and 6.
Yeah, and like you said, they got the lap car. Jamie Lipke just ahead of them might play a factor into this, but Jeremy looking super strong right now. As they head downhill here, you can see Jeremy Gardner taking a peek to the inside, letting Tyler Justice know that he's there as they going through the 180. Getting around this corner, you got to be very careful too, getting on the throttle, headed downhill here. This is a very quick left-hander. It's very easy to go long here, and they both hold it together. We'll see if Jeremy can get him going down into the next set of corners.
Well, as Gardner comes down towards Puhan, I wonder if Gardner's waiting for Justice to catch Lipke and use Lipke as a pick to try to get around Justice. And we'll have to see as they're making their way down towards turn 12 and 13 right now. Lipke's still out ahead of them both. Justice kind of taking the more normal dry line. I don't know if it's starting to dry up or not, but Gardner's right behind him, only 0.2 seconds behind. It looks like Gardner's going to come out to the outside, try to loop it in, try to get the run off the corner. Not going to do it here as they're making the right-hander down towards the long straightaway. Looks like Justice is going to get around Lipke and Gardner's going to follow, so Jamie Lipke, she wants no part of this. Let's see what Justice can do through Blanche-Chaumont. How much gas can he keep in this car, and how much is Gardner willing to risk it?
Yeah, there is a lot of downforce on these cars, but pretty slick track out there right now. As they head into the final chicane here before the front stretch. Been a lot of struggles here. We've seen a lot of guys spin out here in this chicane, and you got two guys battling right now, and Tyler Justice feeling all kinds of pressure here. So we're riding along with Gardner here. All up on the back door right now, Tyler Justice as they head down towards one here. Tyler looking
a little bit in the right-hander, and that's going to allow Gardner to start closing up, and he's going to set up outside to get the run off of turn 1. So you're looking at the
Headed-
back of Tyler Justice right now as they work their way up Eau Rouge and Radion down to Camel Straight. They're going to be side by side, I bet, once they get down to Lecombe. Gardner peaks. Now he's going to look and switch the other way. He's going to try to take the inside line going to 5. He breaks a little early trying to set up for the next turn. Is Justice going to run wide? Did he break too late? No, it looks like he's doing okay for now. Gardner backed off a little bit, but does he have a move coming down to Ravage?
Yeah, I don't think so just yet, but he was strong in the last section that they did go down through Fulhorn down here. Just a little bit down the track here. You see Gardner putting pressure on now as they head towards this quick left-hander that I talked about before. This is where Gardner was strong the last time. We'll see if he gets down on the inside, headed down towards Fulhorn here. It looks like Gardner will tuck back in line, maybe try an undercut here, and maybe not.
Gardner took Ravage very wide, and that allowed him to get a big run heading down to No Name. Couldn't get alongside towards Puhan, and now they're working their way back down to 12 and 13, the right and then the left. Let's see what line they choose again. Gardner's going to keep going wide. He likes getting that run off of 13. Now he's going to cut back to the inside, but it's going to turn back into the outside as they come around curve Paul Ferreira.
Yeah, as they come down towards Paul Ferreira, his car off in the gravel
Ryzen
just ahead of
Baker.
him. So,
Baker's off
yeah,
track after making up all that room, all those positions from his accident earlier. Let's see what happened.
got 6 Hour just lets him go there, and it looks like that set him set Ryzen Baker out to the side there, and just a car trying to be considerate and just caught him off guard there and sent Ryzen Baker around.
Well, if you're one of the slow cars, the best thing you could do is try to be predictable. I don't know if Ryzen Baker was quite ready to make a pass there and didn't have the reaction time to get around him safely, and it looks like he's going to have to pit again, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a tough break. That's 2 times now tonight that he's had to do this and fix damage on that Porsche. We're looking back at Jeremy Gardner now. Still hasn't made that position on Tyler Justice. Tyler Justice putting up a good fight right now in the McLaren, so Jeremy might not be the best driver in the rain right now. He's having a solid night, but definitely so far hasn't been able to do anything with Tyler Justice as they go through Eau Rouge here and down Kimmel Straight. And it looks like Jeremy's going to take a peek on the outside. Not the preferable way around, but if he can get a little bit, it's a quick right-hander then left-hander. If he can stay on the inside, might be able to claim this position.
Well, as they come down towards Lacombe, there's going to be a move to the outside. Jeremy's going to try to drive around knowing that the next turn is going to be the inside, and it looks like he's going to get it done really clear. He does.
Yep, that's what I thought he might do there as he heads downhill. He's got that position, so move Jeremy Gardner up to that, well, actually now 4th position with the incident with Ryzen Baker just ahead of him earlier. That moves Jeremy Gardner up to that 4th position, so Jeremy Gardner now only 1 position away from that podium.
I'm not going to say anything yet. We still got 45 minutes to go, but if there's a miracle in the heavens, it could happen again tonight. Taking a look at James Bailey, who's up 13 seconds now, and Derek Folk, the interval there is just not moving a whole lot. They have kind of even out for now, and we'll have to see if anything crazy is going to happen here in the next 44 minutes.
No, I think that gap is ebbing and flowing based on who's making the mistake. So 1 minute, Derek Folk will be up a couple seconds, and the next moment he'll be back a few seconds. So guys out there still struggling on this wet track, but James Bailey certainly having a solid night in that purple Ferrari. The sun is almost fully up now. Imagine this track will start drying out really quick as we're looking at Derek Folk right now in that 2nd place Mustang. Just sitting back about 14.2 seconds. Well, actually 12 and a half seconds right now. It just depends on where they're at on the track. But yeah, closing that gap just a little. We'll see what happens next time they cross the line.
There's trouble in Ravage. Derek Folk is now only 6 seconds back as James Bailey loses it coming out of turn 8. Let's take a look and see what happened. I think he just might have got back on the throttle just a little too early. Makes his way downhill towards Ravage. looks like he was riding the rubbered up part of the track, and just the rear end comes around. That's going to cost him a lot of time. He's currently only 6 seconds ahead of Derek Folk.
Well, you said it earlier, Corey. You know, they need to focus on just being calm and consistent and not trying to go too fast. And, you know, that Ferrari's gotten away from him numerous times tonight. But if he's not careful, you know, he's going to be looking at Derek Folk in the mirror if that Ferrari keeps going around, as we're looking at third right now of Andrew. I'll let you say his last name. How about that?
No, you need to do it. You need to try it.
Nope, not doing it anymore. Not doing it.
We got third place, Andrew McGarrigle, currently a minute and 10 seconds behind the leader. Still hanging out there, trying not to lose too much time, but he is losing a lot of time. He's got Jeremy Gardner 6 seconds back. Something happened to him because he lost 11 seconds to Gardner on that last lap. Jeremy Gardner, Big Daddy is coming.
Yeah, and just like his teammate Ryzen Baker there, Andrew McGarrigle, starting to struggle with that Porsche as well. So maybe these tires are starting to feel old, these rain tires for these Porsches, starting to struggle a little bit. But you're right, Jeremy Gardner coming and sees that third place. We've been talking about him maybe holding on to a podium position tonight, and that's very much in the picture now as we're back with our leader, James Bailey, headed down into Eau Rouge.
Well, something we haven't talked about tonight, you know, something that can happen in sim racing versus, you know, regular racing is car selection. Are you at a disadvantage when you know it's going to rain or when there's a strong chance of rain and you're sitting here in a mid or rear engine car? Does that hurt your cornering capability in the rain and have your rear end slip out on you?
Yeah, I don't know. I just imagine with these fixed setups. So iRacing tries to match these cars up the best they can with BOP, and some cars will have a little more traction control, some cars a little bit less. And like I'd mentioned with the Ferrari having some struggles out here in the rain, the way that turbocharger is set up and the lack of being able to adjust traction control, I think not only do you have the car difference, but you do have a little bit of difference in the setups between the cars. And so like I'd mentioned before, the Porsche being really popular in the rain and myself liking the Corvette, it's just a matter, I think it's really driver's preference when it comes down to it.
Well, unfortunately for Ryzen Baker, damage or not, he is currently going to serve a black flag for incident points, which is going to hurt him. He's currently in 6th place.
Well, no pun intended, but when it rains, it pours. So it looks like we're looking at Derek Folk right now. Actually, we're looking at Jeremy Gardner. So Jeremy Gardner currently in that 4th position, headed up through Eau Rouge. Got about 6 seconds to run down Andrew McGarrigle just ahead of him. So Gardner working on that podium position. Derek Folk running in 2nd. Having a solid night, about 6.5 seconds behind. Well, 4.5 seconds based on what I see on the TV here, but that just depends on where they're at on the track. But he is running the leader down. So Derek Folk definitely probably feels that definitely knows that he's running that leader down and wants to put the pressure on. And I guarantee you that James Bailey is looking at that gap shrink. And speaking of our leader is now caught up in some traffic right now. So you can see it right now as we're riding with James Bailey. He's got Jason Kristen and James Goshen just ahead of him. These lap cars trying to get by. You see he gets by Jason Kristen, lets him by. And now he's got Matt Last exiting pit lane there, and then he's got James Goshen just ahead of him in that Corvette as they head up towards Le Rouge here. So that's going to slow that up. That allowed that gap to shrink even further, but Folk's going to have to go through this lap traffic as well, and Folk might get a luckier break getting through these cars. We'll have to wait and see as we're looking at Derek Folk in the Mustang. Headed down Kimmel straight. See, he's flashing the lights way in advance. He wants that driver in front of him to let him by. That's Matt Last just ahead of him. But I think Matt Last is just a little bit too far away. And Derek Folk wanted to get by that car before he got into this set complex of turns here. So Derek Folk's got Matt Last and James Goshen just ahead of him. And it looks like, yeah, he's going to get let by there. So Matt Last lets him by, and James Goshen just ahead of him in the Corvette. We'll see if this woes him up just a little bit. just a little under 3 seconds, 2 seconds now behind our leader. He does get by, so he has really closed up the distance here, 2.5 seconds behind the leader. So it was almost 18 seconds just maybe 15 minutes ago, and now it's down to just a couple.
Well, we talked about the mistakes. They add up, and when the mistakes add up, the interval shrinks. So there's Folk right now. He's got James Bailey right out the window. Let's see if he can keep it together. If he gets a little too hungry, he might wreck himself. So no mistakes here. Just keep hitting your marks and catch the leader.
Yeah, I thought Derek Folk was going to get off onto the sand there and slow him up there. Still 2.8 seconds back, trying to reel in that Ferrari. Well, why we do have a little bit of a break, see if Derek Folk is going to catch up. Let's talk about our primary sponsor of this series, MK Fire Design. MK Fire Design is a design company that specializes in custom wooden flags, shirts, hoodies, and hats. The company supports first responders and veterans and is owned by a first responder. So thank you, MK Fire Design, for coming on and allowing us to broadcast this entire season this year. It's been a blast. And if you guys haven't seen photos or some of the video that the league's put out of these custom flags that MK Fire Design does, they're just absolutely breathtaking, very cool, and very happy to have them on board.
Well, thank you, MK Fire Designs. More trouble for a lot of our leaders here. Two more cars in the top 10 have gotten black flags on penalty points. So Oz Exelu and Chris Jennings are going to have to come serve themselves a penalty as we're watching Derek Folk hunt down James Bailey. Ooh, look at the front end of that car on Oz Exelu. Woo. Oz has used his fast repair already, so I don't know if this is going to end his night, if he's going to park it, or if he's just going to have to lose a lot of spots. It looks like he's going to try to make it work, but we'll see what he can do. We'll see if he comes to pit road this time.
Well, he's currently running in the 8th place. The nice thing about missing the front end, though, in the rain is you don't need as much downforce, so it might be okay for the rain. He can't go very fast anyway, so we'll see if he stays out. If he's used his quick repair, obviously, unless the car's ill handling, he might as well stay out, and that's what he does.
Yep. And the 9th place car of Chris Jennings has a folded up front bumper himself. So, a lot of good drivers. I mean, these are not amateur, drivers. Oz has a 2200 sports car I rating. So, certainly well above average, and even mistakes can happen to the best of us.
Yeah, something happened to Derek Folk here, so lost the gap here. We're going to go back and see what happened, but this has been a race of mistakes here.
Even with those front engine cars, he still can lose the rear end a little bit. Heading downhill towards Rovage. Braked a little bit later there. See what happens. Back on the gas, and around he goes.
That's
Seen that a few times tonight, haven't we?
Yeah, good old Ford Mustang power back there, just solid horsepower trying to get it done. I did notice on that replay, and you can see it here, there is a bit of a dry line forming. Still a lot of spray coming off these cars. So we've got 35 minutes to go in this race. Now we're watching another. It's Jeremy Gardner there. Just past, I want to say that was Oz Exelu that spun out in front of him. Yeah, it was. So Oz Exelu having some more struggles there. I'm going to go back and see exactly what happened to Oz as we ride on board. You can see there's no front downforce there. Car pushes in, gets the rear tires on the paint, and around it goes.
That easy. So now we have Jeremy Gardner a 2.5 seconds behind Andrew McGarrigle in 3rd. Here comes your Christmas miracle a month early. It may happen. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I'm getting certainly tired of talking to Jeremy Gardner up in the booth. So, Jeremy Gardner, yeah, I don't want to talk to you tonight. No, that's not true. I always like talking to Big Daddy Jeremy Gardner. So, yeah, I'll be excited. I want to see him keep this streak alive. So, if he can get another top 3, especially he's fought through adversity tonight. So, we've talked about him a lot tonight, but it's well deserved. He's kept it on the track mostly, and hasn't got one of those black flags for too many incident points. And so still having a solid night. And like you said, it won't be long before he's working on third place.
Garrigle having a decent night. Obviously, he's up in third right now, started fifth, but he's lost some time there. He lost a second and a half last lap to Gardner. If he does that again, he's going to have Gardner right on the back door.
Yeah, and that's coming really quick. I almost feel like he's worn out the rear tires on that Porsche, and that's why these Porsches, after, I don't know, 30 minutes in the rain, have just don't seem as fast as they were early in this race, allowing Jeremy Gardner to close in. And you can see that dry line, though. We just looked in the cockpit of Jeremy Gardner. You can see a lot of dry surface out on that track, so we might maybe shortly start to see some guys maybe want to put those slicks on, because you're about 20 seconds a lap faster with the dry tires on versus the rain tires, at least when it's dry.
Yeah, well, one thing we haven't talked about with the slower lap times is obviously, the equipment's going to wear out, but the driver wears out too. I mean, I know this is just a simulation, but this still can wear you out over time. I remember, my in my last 24-hour race here at Spa, I was just wrecked after a while. You lose that focus, and that focus is what causes a lot of these mistakes.
Yeah, you gotta get in the zone. When I used to run these endurance races, you kind of just got to get into a zone, not overdrive the car. Because if you're racing, you mentioned it, you get racing other people really hard for 2 hours straight, it does tax you. But if you can get into a zone and just focus on the track and hit your marks, sometimes it's not as hard as it could be other times. But Jeremy's about to find out after about an hour and a half of racing. He's going to have to start putting up a battle here with Andrew McGargle in the 118 car just ahead of him. And like you said, that fatigue, that's when you really start to notice that fatigue, is when you start racing other people.
Yeah, I think that Gardner is kind of settled in here. I think he's going to probably either make his move. If he doesn't catch McGarrigle easily, I think he's going to try to maybe make his move on pit road. These guys might still have to make another stop. We'll have to see how they're doing on gas. Gardner hasn't pitted in 16 laps, so we'll see how many more laps he has in him on this tank of fuel or before the tires give up on him. So plenty of time left, though, as they're going to work Blanchimont here.
When they are out there on the rain tires, they do save a lot of fuel. They probably use about 3/4 less, or not 3/4, but 1/4 less fuel per lap or per stint versus the dry tires being out there at race paces. We're watching Jeremy Gardner get through the last chicane here, watching that Mustang a little bit sloppy getting through there, lost a little bit of time. That allowed Andrew to pull away just a little bit, but I know Andrew is feeling that pressure right now as they head into turn one.
You really got to block it out and just try to hit your marks, and like we've been saying all night, tiptoe through those corners. But checking back on James Bailey, he opened up his lead till about 10 or 11 seconds, but now it's down to about 8.5. So we'll see where he's looking here in the last half hour as we get that started. But looking pretty good so far, settled in, made his mistakes, but hopefully for him, he's done making mistakes, and he can see the checkered flag coming here in about another half hour.
Yeah, as he heads down through Blanchimont and then into the final chicane there. Still a lot of spray on this section of the track. This is where it rained the hardest early in this race. But it is drying out slowly but surely, but looks pretty solid and pretty composed getting that Ferrari through this section so far, but hasn't been mistake-free for our leader, nor anybody out here on the track tonight.
Well, when he's good, he's great because he's the fastest car on track last lap. Well, as he comes to complete lap 36 here, we'll have to see if he was the fastest this time as the others start to take their take the start-finish line. We'll have to see what that looks like. But looking pretty smooth. Obviously a little slow here in the wet conditions, but looks like he's getting it done at the moment. Taking a look back at the second-place car with Keith Folk. Got the lead down to 8 seconds, but now it's back out to 10th as he's working his way down towards Eau Rouge.
Yeah, I was watching our leader. We can stay on Derek Folk for a minute, but I was watching our leader on the last couple of corners going through Eau Rouge. He was actually taking the wet part of the track, and I think what he's doing is trying to keep those tires cool on that Ferrari So when he is into the braking zones, he's got a little bit cooler tires because those tires are starting to age now. They've been on these wets for 30 minutes or so, or almost an hour, I would say. Yeah, 45 minutes to an hour. So they've been on these tires for a while. So these tires are probably starting to show their age.
As we've talked about how hard these conditions are to traverse, we've actually got a disqualification on points. Samuel Eggy in the 243. He'll be done for the night. He's DNF'd. Currently riding around 4 laps down in 15th place, but he's going to lose a few more spots. So the incident point limit's going to take him out of contention for a top 10. We'll see how the rest of everybody else can fare. Can they just survive the next 28 minutes?
Yeah, he wasn't the only victim of that. It looks like we had another one, Jason Black, earlier. Struggled. You remember that black Lamborghini? Had some struggles, and he got DQ'd as well. So hasn't been incident-free for anybody out there tonight that I know of. But Jeremy Gardner, we're looking at him right now, trying to make another attempt on that 118 as they come down through Le Rouge here. And it looks like Andrew, I'll say Andrew. Andrew coming up on Oz here, lap car. Oz lets him buy Oz Escalou. Lets the 118 by, but Jeremy's going to come by on the outside here or try to make an attempt here and get McGurgle. I don't know why. I look at that name and I see dead people. I don't know what's wrong. And Jeremy Gardner does get that pass made down on the inside. So move Gardner up to a podium position so far. So Gardner has made, well, he's made up quite a few positions here tonight. So he's up 9 positions on the night. So glad to see him up here. Maybe we'll get a talk to him tonight.
Some of the other series they talk about the commentator's curse. I think if you pronounced his name right, he'd have had a few more horsepower to hold that position. But so that one's entirely on your shoulders, by the way. We're just going to put that there.
I see that and I get a serious case of dyslexia. I look at his last name and I don't know why. It messes my brain up. So I need to start doing drugs or something. So I've picked the wrong week to stop sniffing glue.
Well, at the top of the show, I advertised this as the best commentators in Goat Locker Racing, and clearly I was wrong. But that's okay.
Oh, thanks a lot.
It's a team effort. We win together, we fail together. So winning right now is Jeremy Gardner. He's a minute back of Derek Folk, but right now he's trying to hang on to his beloved podium streak, and right now he's got a mirror full of Andrew McGarrigle. Only 2/10 back, hasn't given up on that podium yet, working their way down towards Blanchimont. Is he going to have anything for him as they head down towards the chicane?
And not quite there yet. As they head down towards the chicane here, we'll see if he can outbrake him into the zone. Looks to the inside, but not going to have enough room to get in there. And Jeremy Gardner slips up a little bit, allows him to catch up. Oh, down on the outside, pushing Jeremy Gardner in the rear quarter panel. Thought Jeremy Gardner was going to loop it there as they go side by side down in the front stretch, headed into 1.
Well, Jeremy Gardner likes the outside line. He likes those big runs on corner X. He's not going to get it here, but it looks like McGarrigle's going to give him a little bit of room, and now they're going to be side by side through Eau Rouge. Can they handle it in the wet?
That's the question here. You can see McGarrigle going down into Eau Rouge on the inside, going to back off, let Gardner have it as they go uphill. Oh, 118 gets a little sideways. That allows Gardner to step away now by about 10 car lengths.
Gardner opens it up to about a second already because of the slip up heading up Radion. Can he get anything done here in Lacombe? Turns 5 and 6. He's not going to be able to close it yet. Gardner really strong through some of these corners.
This battle, this battle is definitely heating back up again. Gardner took that position away from the 118. The 118 wants it back. As they head down the hill here, Gardner, he's worked really hard to get up here. Definitely wants that podium, but so does Andrew back there in the 118. As they go through the 180 here and down to Visage, Gardner will hold on to it for now. You can see that dry line definitely forming now.
Yeah, we had 31 cars start this race. We still have 17 on track right now. So still a few positions left for some of the guys hanging out and towards the back if they can just get the last of these laps run. As we ride on board with McGarrigle heading towards turn 12.
McGarrigle,
right-handed.
I thought he was gonna. I thought he missed his brake marker. Was gonna get right into the back of Jeremy Gardner. Really close that distance up. Able to hang on to it, but now looking down on the inside, Gardner's just got a mirror full of that Porsche trying to fend off this position, trying to hold on to that position he was able to take, but that 118 wants that position back desperately.
Well, the track conditions are getting ready for a big battle here for the end for these two. As the track starts to dry up, these drivers can get a little bit more daring as each lap winds down and look for somebody to make a move and somebody to make a mistake.
And so far, these two drivers have been able to hold on to it. Jeremy Gardner made a little bit of a mistake here last time, but very clean through the chicane now. And that allowed that Mustang to get up on step a little bit better than the Porsche as they race down into turn one. We'll see if the 118's got anything into this braking zone, but really closes up the gap in the braking zones. But Gardner's got that wide entry that you mentioned, Corey, that he likes to take. Gets that Mustang a little sideways, though.
Well, Gardner, about a lap ago, stretched it out to a second, but McGarrigle's already closed it up to about 3/10. He's going to follow him up through Eau Rouge, up Redillon, down the Kemmel Straight. Can he get anything in line for turns 5 and 6?
Well, I don't know what happened, but we had a change for the lead. No, we didn't. James Bailey. Yeah, James Bailey. We had a change for the lead somewhere. James Bailey slipped up somewhere, it looks like, and Derek Folk was able to get around. So we have a new leader, Derek Folk, up on the point right now. The last time he was on the point, he actually spun it in the chicane. If you remember, early in this race, was able to race his way up front, spun it on the point, and that allowed Bailey back by. But now he is on point, headed into this last chicane. Not sure what happened to Bailey, where he ended up behind him about 6 seconds back.
Yeah,
or actually further, 24 seconds.
But he went from being 10 seconds ahead to 24 seconds back. So we'll do a little investigating and get back to you on that one.
Yeah, I'm looking at James Bailey right now. I don't see any damage on that Ferrari, so it looks...
James Bailey pitted. I'm sorry. He put on dries.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Yep. We missed that. So good catch there. So that explains it. So the first car of our leaders of the top 10, basically, top 13, is James Bailey, took on those drives. So he definitely sees a line out there. Now, if you remember, we're looking at Jeremy Gardner right now trying to fend off that 118, but... if we remember, James Bailey had all kinds of struggles on wets and dries, and now he's going to change tires again in a slightly wet pavement. So we'll see if he can hang on to that Ferrari and get back up to the lead.
Well, if I'm in one of these other cars in the top 5, I'm looking at to see what James Bailey's lap times are the next couple laps. If he's faster...
he goes around, though. James Bailey, I mentioned it, and he goes around and hits the wall there. It looks like
he made contact with the guardrail. Maybe it was just a little too early to push on those dry tires as he comes up Eau Rouge. Catches the wet paint. We talked about it. And he's just going to tap it. Not too bad on the front end, but enough to affect the aerodynamics in the front on that thing.
Yeah, so we've seen him struggle with both sets of new tires. We've seen him out there try to stay out on the slicks and get sideways with that thing. Right now we're looking at Chris Jennings back there in 9th. So having a solid night. They are a lap down. He's battling Jamie Lipke. So Jamie Lipke, you see, making a look on the inside. Jamie is going to let him go, and does, and he does get that position.
We're going to have to watch pit road to see if anybody comes down for dries, but I don't know if they will after seeing what happened to James Bailey. As we see McGarrigle still only 2/10 back, right on the back bumper of Jeremy Gardner. As we hit here in the last closing minutes, I think McGarrigle's probably going to want this back as they work their way through Rivage down towards turn 9. See what he's got this late in the race. He might burn up his stuff. They've been out there a while on these rain tires. You know, they don't last as long, especially as the track starts to dry out.
No, and not only do they not last as long, they just get super hot too, and they're very hard to deal with. And that's why we've seen our leader start to run a wet line to try to cool those tires back down. You can see there's still a bit of spray coming off these cars. We'll see they're about halfway through this lap if either one of these guys head to pit lane. But it's kind of like one of those deals. Oh, Gardner gets a little loose there, a little squirrely on that Mustang, and I believe that isn't because it's wet. It's just those tires, like you'd mentioned, are just getting worn out and getting hot back there. And he's probably wondering, you see him sideways again, probably wondering if he should get some slicks put on that car.
Now, they both pitted about on lap 18, so they've been out there for 21 laps. You got to wonder how much they got left in that fuel tank. Is it enough to go 17 more minutes? Because the tires, I think, have about had it.
Yeah, and the other thing that you got to think about, too, when you come in and get those dry tires is kind of changes your entire approach to the track. We'll see what they do going into the chicane here, but you have to refocus your energy and how you hit your marks. Looks like they're both going to stay out. Neither one of them headed to pit lane. And it looks like we got another race, which we said before going into turn one.
Couple takers on pit road for their last service. Matt Lass and Corey Patton have put on dries. As we see Gardner still trying to defend. Looks like McGarrick will go into the inside, but he's going to line up right behind him. They're going to race downhill towards Eau Rouge.
Yeah, Gardner got a little...
anything for him coming up the hill.
Gardner got a little loose on the exit there. That allowed the 118. Oh, Gardner goes around. Those tires were just a little too hot.
Was there contact? I couldn't see it.
I don't think so. I don't think there was any contact. Maybe took a little bit of air off that rear spoiler, but yeah, I think Jeremy just lost that. We could see that Mustang was struggling on really hot tires, and I believe that's all that happened going up Eau Rouge here. And just the rear end got away from him. We'll take another look here and see exactly what happened.
Yeah, it looks like he just lost it. I mean, yeah, he definitely had to be stressing those tires out. You know, he was defending so hard from McGarrick for so long. Now, the thing with that is that Jeremy Gardner's still in third. We've seen James Bailey meatball it, so he's
yeah, he's got a lot of damage on that Ferrari. Just happened to look at that rear wing is missing on that Ferrari, and not sure what happened to James Bailey, but it's starting to really go downhill for him.
Well, so despite everything that just happened to Jeremy Gardner, the streak is still in play, as that's the story of the season so far. I can't believe it.
He must be holding on to that rabbit's foot really hard. Got it between his legs, just squeezing it. So that's Jeremy Gardner for you. We're looking at Tyler Justice right now. Tyler Justice with Reisenbaker down there in the 77 there. Reisenbaker had some struggles, but Tyler Justice back in the top 5 now that Bailey had his incident. So Tyler Justice, strong all season, been running in the top 5, top 10, one of the most consistent drivers all season besides Jeremy Gardner. Trying to fend off Reisenbaker right now in that 77.
Reisenbaker certainly had his share of hardships tonight, but he's still in contention, sitting in the top 5, looking for a top 4, maybe looking for some mistakes out of everybody else and maybe squeeze back into that podium. We'll have to see.
Definitely have to see. So that really changes maybe a little bit of the complexion for the race here. Derek Folk still out there on those wet tires, hasn't decided to take that Mustang in yet. Got quite a gap now, over a minute over the 118 car. And we'll see if any of these guys, it looks like he's weaving that Mustang back and forth, but I'll be interested. Oh, we put the camera on him. Look what happens, Corey. He's able to save that car, but that was a close call for our leader. He has such a huge lead, though, at the moment. As long as he doesn't do stuff like that all the time, should be able to sail away with it. But I think he's suffering from the same thing that was happening with Gardner. With the Mustang just got really hot tires at the moment.
Well, fortunately for him, he's just out of turn 15. He's got a long straightaway ahead. And then if it's me, I got a minute on everybody else. I'm taking tires and enough gas to get to the end. I'm not taking any chance.
I would agree with you on that. As we're looking at second place, Andrew, say it for me.
McGarrick,
thank you. I always get it after I hear it.
Jeremy Gardner's coming in and taking service. He's going to drop back to 5th for the moment, but he's got dry tires, so he thinks he can tiptoe around this thing with what's left of that moisture on track.
Yeah, now he's going to have to be extra careful and stay in that dry line and not overdrive that car. I think he knows that. We're looking back now at Tyler Justice, still Baker right behind him. This battle hasn't changed over the last couple of laps. Baker wants that 4th place position away. Well, actually, at this moment, it's 3rd place with the pit cycle starting to happen with Gardner going in. But this is a battle for the podium at the moment, but this all could change. It's going to be curious if these guys decide to stay out on those wet tires and whether Gardner can run them down. And it's quite possible with 10 minutes to go.
Well, taking a look at our leaderboard right now, it looks like the guy who led the most laps tonight is going to DNF it. James Bailey still sitting on the tow hook. He is currently a lap down, about to go 2, and I think his night is done. How far will he fall here in the last 10 minutes?
Yeah, it's we've had a lot of attrition though, so he isn't going to fall all the way to the bottom, but definitely a heartbreaking night for him tonight. Isn't much water coming off these cars right now as we're following along here with Tyler Justice leading this pack of 2. They got the lap car of Corey Patton just behind him, currently running in 14th. Corey Patton was one of the first drivers to be out there on the racing slicks before the track dried out, but Corey having an okay night. Not probably the night he was hoping for, but solid nonetheless. And he's showing he can hang with, it looks like 3rd and 4th place at the moment.
And we might have some developing issues with the Jeremy Gardner podium streak. It looks like he's being shown the black flag on points. So he's going to need a pass through, it looks like. But we'll have to see on that one as they're up. And here come Justice and Baker for their last pit cycle of the night. Let's see how they shake out. Who can get off first? Can you make them pass on pit road?
And you can see right there, Baker took a quick repair. He had some damage on the front end of that Porsche. It's going to take about 14 seconds to get racing slicks back on this car, so that's what they're both looking at. It'll be a matter of who can beat who off pit lane. Looks like Gardner is serving his drive-through at the moment. So Gardner right behind these two, serving his drive-through.
Going to be interesting to see. And here comes our leader for his last cycle of the night. He's finally he's got that minute 2-second lead, so he's coming through. We'll have to see where he shakes out.
Another development, Tyler Justice still on pit lane. So something has gone wrong with Tyler Justice. I don't know if he's decided to fill that up, or maybe he had to go take a bathroom break or something, but now he's just now leaving pit lane. So Tyler Justice, if you remember, was in 3rd and came in with Baker, and he is going to give up some positions right now. Not a whole lot. Field's pretty spread out, but lost a big chunk of time. I'm not sure why he was on pit lane.
A 51.5-second pit stop is going to cost him a couple spots.
Cost him the lead lap. So it looks like even the leader has put Tyler Justice a lap down.
Now we're looking at the 118 of Andrew McGarrigle, who's now in 2nd, about a minute behind the leader. Or I'm sorry, 21 seconds behind the leader of Falk. However, McGarrigle's not been to pit road quite yet.
And
looks like he's taken now.
Yeah, got a little bit of front end damage on that Porsche as we look at his teammate Baker here. But that Porsche coming in to get repairs done has done a good job hanging on to that, just driving as clean as he can. As a matter of fact, the only incidents I really seen him involved with was his own teammate of Baker. Baker now shown in the 3rd position, it looks like.
Well, even in the last few minutes, we're now down to 15 cars that are currently on track. Less than half the field's going to finish this race. As now we're taking a look at Jeremy Gardner. Does he have enough time to get to that podium? He's got 4.5 seconds to gain on Baker with only 9 minutes to go.
Yeah, well, Jeremy is a strong driver. Now that this track is drying out, I believe he can do it, but he's going to have to push pretty hard. He's made up just a little bit of time just in the moments that we were speaking there, made up a half a second at least, so he is running it down. I think these guys are on about the same tires. I don't think that really matters at this point, though. It's just a matter of staying in that dry line as we watch Jeremy Gardner cross the start-finish line here. Got 8 minutes, and depending on where the leader crosses the line, we could end up with a couple minutes more. It's hard to say, but we get towards the end of this thing, it could go an extra lap.
Well, Rice and Baker must have, well, it was a pit cycle. Jeremy gained a lot of ground on Baker that last time, got Baker right out the window as we're back on board with the 410 of Derek Folk, who has still got a 43-second lead, had 31 seconds in the pit box, so I think he probably took tires to finish out this race. That he did. He went to dries. So if he can just cruise it on home, he'll have another win.
Yeah, solid night for that Mustang. Derek Folk out here showing that he can get it done, not without some a little bit of drama out there, though. So everybody's had their share of drama. I wonder how close he is to incidents. You know, could be one of those drivers bumping up on that close to incident limit, and you got to drive like an angel around this place once you reach a certain amount of points. Looking at Oz Exelu right now, currently running in 9th, 2 laps down, having a solid night, but still missing the front end of that McLaren.
But you got to give it to him. He's made it that far with, he's not had a front end for about the last hour. So good on him for making that happen.
Yeah, he's got Skylar Daly just behind him. Skylar Daly's 7 laps down in that Mustang, so he's currently running in the 16th position, half the field. Probably one of the last cars running out there right now. So lots of attrition here tonight. Gardner goes by Ryzen Baker, it looks like. So Gardner back up into that podium, and he did that quick. He was 3 seconds back last time we were talking about him, Corey.
Well, he put 20 seconds on him again that last lap. Or no, I'm sorry. My telemetry is all messed up here. But yeah, he's definitely put it to him in the last couple of laps, and he's made up tons of ground on those tires. Because Rison's still sitting on wets, so obviously going to be slower as long as Jeremy can find that dry line.
Yeah, he's there's no comparison. You know, I think Ryzen Baker decided to stay out there on those wet tires and take his chances, but you know, there is such a huge gap on the field. Ryzen Baker now is going to have to hope he can hold off Tyler Justice. Tyler Justice back there, I believe Tyler Justice is back there on wet, so should be able to hold Tyler Justice off. Just needs to hope they can hang on to the top 5 at this point.
Yep, Justice sitting about 36 seconds back of Baker on the same wet tires. So as long as he's mistake-free, he'll come home in 4th. A great points night, but definitely wanted to be on the podium there as you see Tyler Justice in 5th. Good night for him, up 6 spots on the whole night.
Oh, we mentioned him, and he decides to send it there in the last chicane there, a little hard into the braking zone there. So as soon as we start talking about him, I don't want to talk about one of our most consistent drivers if you're going to mess up like that. So Tyler, you got to get it together. Back looking at Derek Folk.
5 minutes to go looking at Derek Folk. Working his way through, heading back towards the start-finish line to complete lap 45.
As he heads down into turn 1 here, nice and clean. Got those racing slicks on, so don't have to worry about heating those tires up too much. He's got a lap car of Chris Jennings just ahead of him. Chris Jennings currently running in the 8th position, 1 lap down. He's having a solid night, one of the newcomers to the league. So you see him just ahead of our leader here.
It looks like James Goshen and Matt Lass are both going to take penalties, but Matt Lass is going to get DQ'd out of this race on points. So another driver in the top 10 is now out of it.
Man, the attrition here has been amazing. We're following along with the 8th place car of Chris Jennings. Like I said, having a solid night, being new to the league here. Welcome, Chris. You know, a lap down, but so much different conditions here tonight at Spa with the rain, the darkness. These guys have had a little bit of everything tonight. So to be up there in 8th place, even though you're a lap down, is still a solid run.
Here in the closing minutes, taking a look at Jamie Lipke. Had a kind of a really nice quiet night, up 19 spots, if you can believe that. She's taking her last pit stop back on the dry tires and just trying to motor through, up in 7th place, only 1 lap down, which, you know, over a 2-hour race is pretty good. You know, even if you're just losing a couple seconds a lap, you're going to end up, you know, going a lap down, and that's fine because 7th place, lots of points. Currently sitting in 12th, so hopefully that can vault her up a little bit towards the top 10.
Well, watching our leader and where the start-finish line is, it looks like we'll have at least 2 more or 1 more lap after he crosses the start-finish line. So Derek Folk back up front here, headed up into the final chicane here. Won't get the white flag this time, so we'll have 1 more to go. So 2 laps actually to go after this, I'm guessing. So looks like we got it looks like we got 2:41 on the clock and going to cross the start finish line at about 2:30 here. So definitely next time by will be the white flag. So 2 laps to go. Derek Folk in the lead of this thing, and as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, he's got a 50-some second lead over 2nd place right now. So got to hold on to that car and keep it clean.
McGurgle working the lap traffic right there, as you can see. He's got nobody on either side of him. He's 50 seconds behind Derek Folk, but he's got Jeremy Gardner 16 seconds behind him. Lost a lot of time the last couple laps to Jeremy Gardner, but I don't know if Jeremy Gardner can make this up in 2 laps.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But we just watched lap car Corey Patton go by. Corey Patton on those slicks and the 118 out there on the reins, so you can see that difference. So lap car getting by. Just nothing you can do. Just hold on to that Porsche for the last few laps here. These guys both have 2 laps to go.
Damian Castro in his 235. He's taking his McLaren all the way up to the top 10. You know, just kept it on track, and he's passed all those guys that have taken DQs and wrecked out of it. And so he's going to get a nice finish tonight, up a lot of spots from starting the 23rd spot.
Yeah, solid night for another one of our newcomers here to Goat Locker Racing, I believe, at least to the series. So, like I said, having a solid night out here. And that's kind of what you have to do when it's rain, you know, just race the track. I do notice some raindrops right now. I thought I did. I think it was just a reflection there of some of the puddles there, but I thought I was seeing some raindrops. But, you know, having a solid night, he's showing what you need to do to get a really good finish. It's not always about speed.
And here in the waning minutes, we've lost another one. Jason Kristen took an off track, and that's going to disqualify him on points. So another one bites the dust in 12th place. I don't know if there's enough time for him to lose any more space, as the person behind him is also disqualified. But they're dropping like flies here in the last couple laps.
Yeah, and I wonder how many incidents Derek Folks got right now, and wonder if he's on the bubble for a drive-through. He does have enough of a lead where a drive-through wouldn't hurt him, could still win this thing. Kind of commanding. He's coming here. We're going to take the white flag, passing the lap car of Chris Jennings here in that other Mustang there on the inside. We are on the last lap of this race, going into 1.
Clean coming out of the La Source, heading down towards Eau Rouge for the final time. Nobody around him. He's got lap traffic to keep him company, but his competitors are nowhere to be found tonight. Makes it up towards the hill, heading down towards the Kemmel Straight, and it's smooth sailing in the Belgian morning.
Yeah, doing a great job here. Just needs to do it for about 13 more turns here, I'm guessing. Just got a little bit of lap cars. He's got Jamie Lipke just ahead of him, and Tyler Justice about 5 seconds ahead of that. If we remember, I think I'm just looking here at Tyler Justice. I want to see if they're on wets or dries right now. I believe Tyler is on wet, so Tyler will be slow, and chances are Derek is gonna reach him and maybe have to contend a little bit there. But like I said, with the lead that he's got, he's just got to keep it clean. He could probably just stay behind those guys and not attempt the pass.
Well, off track a couple seconds ago, we had Jeremy Gardner, who looks like he's going to have to pit. He might have had some damage. And we
he's
took
got
a black flag again on points. Not enough to disqualify him, but that's going to make a very interesting race for third. That final spot, Ryzen Baker coming to take his white flag. Might be okay. Does the streak end here tonight?
Gardner exiting pit lane right now, going down the hill, does get out ahead of Ryzen Baker now. And can he get the speed? That's close for Jeremy Gardner. I think he can do it. He gets up down through Eau Rouge here, gets up on the straightaway, will be able to open that gap. But now we're back with our leader. Was able to keep that Mustang fairly clean tonight. Started on the pole here. Is going to finish on the pole. Had an incident early in the race, trying to get by a couple lap cars here. Like I'd mentioned, Tyler Justice, he was going to catch him. Tyler Justice on those old tires. But I think Derek Folk is just going to ride in behind. Now he can get by. And it looks like Derek Folk is going to win this race here at Spa.
Absolute stunning drive. You know, we talked about the key to this race was going to be making the fewest mistakes, and he made some, but he didn't make as many as the others. And he's going to be on the top step of the podium because of it.
Yeah, he opened up quite a lead there. He's over a minute over second place of the 118 car. The 118 car is we'll probably go back here and take a look at it and see where he's at. Yeah, coming down here into Paul Fier. And so he's still got a ways to go before he reaches the start-finish line here.
Yep, and it looks like Jeremy Gardner's going to hopefully hold off Ryzen Baker. He's got 4 seconds of room to play on here, but it's pretty impressive that he took a couple black flags and is still going to somehow maybe pull this off if he can make it through the rest of this lap unscathed. As McGarrigle's coming around to the double right hitter, and he's going to come down through, and he's going to finish second. Great drive for him. Battled all night, and he's going to take the second step on the podium. As now we go back to Blanchimont, Jeremy Gardner heading down towards the chicane for the final. Oh, don't curse him with that banner just yet. He's still got 2 more turns, making the right, making the left, and he's going to do it through the most insane of miracles. Jeremy Gardner is going to finish on the podium and keep the streak alive.
Great job for Jeremy. It's unbelievable. I can't believe he's done it. Ryzen Baker just behind him will finish 4th. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, what an exciting race. We are going to throw a commercial break. We'll come back with your unofficial results, and we'll talk to our top 3 here tonight.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you, day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name, We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your glove station.
All right, we're back live here at Spa with an exciting finish. Derek Folk, your race winner here, will take the podium spot. Here's your unofficial results for tonight's race. Like I said, Derek Folk commands this league, started on the pole and finishes with that first place finish. Andrew, my favorite last name, McGarrigle, finishes second with Jeremy Gardner in third. That is your podium finishers. Reisenbaker will finish in fourth with Tyler Justice. The last car on the lead lap rounds out your top five. Another solid night for Tyler. Sami Yosef with a good run. Started in 16th, will finish 6th. Jamie Lipke will finish in 7th. Chris Jennings will finish in 8th. Oz Escalou will finish 9th. Damian Castro will finish in that last 10th place.
Well, heading through our top 20 now, we got Corey Patton, who finished 11th. James Goshen finished 12th. Matt Latz in 13th. Jason Kristen in 14th. James Bailey in 15th. Skylar Daly in 16th. Samuel Egg in 17th. Cody Jacob in 18th. Alexander Sexhauer brings it home 19th. And Jason Black in 20th.
Eric Burke will finish in 21st. Mike Browning, 22nd. Chad Gross will finish in the 23rd position. Zachary Minnis, 24th. Logan Threlkeld, tough night for him, 25th. Lucas Lyons, a tough night for him as well, 26th. Rob Kubat will finish in 27th. Derek Tierams, 28th. Tyler Brown, 29th. And then Wyatt Dooling will finish in 30th. And then the last few cars we have here, we just have a couple cars that took the field here. Brendan McDonald will finish in 31st. Bobby Germain and the rest did not take the field for tonight. So, wow, what an exciting race. Well, why don't we talk to our race winner? Derek, you got a copy in here with Corin Smith and Ken Huber in the booth.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, pretty good. Hey, you started out here on the pole tonight, had a solid run, but it was a lot of back and forth there. I watched you and the second place starter tonight have a good battle, but you guys were kind of both struggling when the rain started.
Yeah, definitely. It was a tricky race out there in the Mustang on the wet tires. I was just very thankful that they held in there for the whole stint, but certainly had to do a little bit of fuel save and tire save there at the beginning just because we didn't know when that rain was coming in. It certainly added some complexities. I had quite a few oopsies and a couple spins out there tonight, but was certainly able to correct a few things and bring it on home.
So you did do a great job out there. So while you were running there, you stayed out on wet tires almost longer than anybody. There was a couple of drivers, Tyler Justice and such, stayed out the whole entire time. But you stayed out quite late on those wet tires. And were you thinking that you might stay out, or was that a last-minute decision to come in and get those dries?
No, I was out of fuel, so I needed to box. So I was trying to see how long I could actually go on those wet tires, and certainly running offline and running when the wet spots off the race line certainly helped to keep those tires cool and let me get a few extra laps.
Well, it was an awesome job here tonight. Who do you have to thank for getting you this first place finish tonight?
Absolutely. Would like to thank Lincoln Tech, Save 22, MK Fire Design, and Zach Graphics, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, and Zoot Lord Racing.
All right, thank you very much, and congrats again there, Derek Folk.
Thank you.
All right, I'm here with Andrew McGarrigle. Thank God he finished second there, Ken. You don't have to say his name anymore tonight.
I know. I'm thanking my lucky stars. I don't have to say this name once again.
Well, Mr. McGarrigle, if there was drama on the track tonight, you certainly were able to find it. You raced your teammate pretty hard, and it ended up you ended up winning that battle. And then you rode the wets a little long there. You finished the race on them, but you had enough lead built up to not lose second. Tell us how you got it done tonight.
Yeah, I mean, battling Ryzen there was a lot of fun for the little bit that we had. Unfortunately, we got a little too far into it. But that's just kind of what happens. And then, I was talking to Ryzen. We were in a VC, and we were talking about if I should take drives there, and I kept asking him, I was like, you think, he's gonna catch me if I stay on these wets? And he was like, no, I think you'll be fine. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna play it safe, take the wets. And yeah, thank God he spun, because he was gonna hawk me down.
Yeah, well, a couple of black flags saved you from the wrath of Jeremy Gardner, but yeah, second place, a pretty nice finish. Welcome to Coat Locker Racing. Who would you like to thank for getting you here tonight?
Yeah, I would just like to thank Jam Printing Promotions, MK Fire Design, Zach Graphics, VSPEED, Alexander PCs, and of course S2 Motorsports for giving me my car. I appreciate you all.
All right, well, that's Andrew McGarrigle, your second place finisher.
All right, now we're up here with Big Pookie. Got a third place, keeps that podium streak alive. Jeremy Gardner, the reason I say that is because people in the chat were saying your name too much, but you can't help it when you've been this consistent all season long. You are a driver that we are going to talk about. And congrats for making up that adversity tonight. How'd you do it?
Hell, I don't even know, to be honest with you. I had zero confidence in practice. I was running, 15th fastest. So I couldn't figure the track out. But I kind of figured it being night. I'm terrible at night races. So I think once the sunlight came out, I got a little bit quicker. I guess that's a hell of a rebound for me. I kept getting a bunch of off tracks, just trying to drive a little bit harder in my confidence level. But two drive-throughs to finish P3. Hell, I guess I'll take it.
Yeah, it was a night of attrition tonight. And it looks like, one of the reasons that you ended up through those drive-throughs is a couple of spins and things like that. Looks like those wet tires were kind of getting hot on you. Is that what you were feeling?
Yeah, they started getting hot, and I was like, well, the track looks like it's drying. I don't see a bunch of water coming off the cars in front of me. So I was like, it's probably time to pit. And, I was going to take that risk. I had nothing to lose tonight. So I don't know. They felt good. And then the corners I struggled in all night during practice is the ones I either got loose, hit the gravel, or whatever. But, hell, whatever.
Well, double points night tonight, and you are leading in the points, so you definitely picked up on these guys. So a lot of the guys there probably were hoping you were going to have a bad night. It did not happen, so congrats on that podium finish. Who do you have to thank tonight?
iRacing, MK Fire Design, appreciate them guys. Appreciate y'all in the booth. VSPEED, SimMotion, Premier Racing Setups, my guys. Tim for putting the series on. Pat and Jamie at JLR, and my teammate Tyler Justice.
Well, awesome. Again, we'll look forward to seeing you race here next week.
Thank you.
All right. Well, like I'd mentioned, Jeremy Gardner cruising up in the standings in first place. He's going to extend that lead out now. And we go to Road America, I believe it is next week, looking at the schedule here. Yeah, Road America there, Corey. So another very fast track, a lot of fun for these guys. A little bit more familiar.
Yeah, Jeremy Gardner, the last thing you want to do is put that guy back on a North American track. He's extended his points lead for the season beyond the 500-point mark. So, he doesn't have to average, a second place finish like he has all season. He just kind of needs to ride it out to the end of Monza. But I don't expect him to hold back at all. I think he's going to go for it and try to, podium the entire season.
Well, next week we only have an hour race, thankfully, so it's been a long one here tonight. So what do you say, Corey? We go have a cold one, enjoy the moments that we had in this race, and we'll see you again next week. So this race has been brought to you by MK Fire Design. MK Fire Design, a design company that specializes in custom wooden flags, shirts, hoodies, and hats, and also brought to you by Save 22. Fighting first responder and veteran suicide. And let's not forget about Zat Graphics. We can put your design on almost anything. So thanks to all our sponsors. Thanks to everybody out there watching. Thank you, Corey, for being here with me in the booth. And thank you, Tim Jones on production, Dougie Beard on cameras. We'll see you next week.
Can't wait to do it.